Obi Akwa. The managing director of City FM and City TV, Samuel Atamenta, expressed confidence in the participants' ability to apply the knowledge acquired to elevate their respective companies.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Evans of Osumancho. You see, this thing has happened again.
Yeah.
First I said Ofuni Primpo, now Osumancho.
Well, we'll have to find a solution to this.
I need a medicine to take.
Exactly. But it's good news for Liverpool fans. There's a new player in town for you guys. Yes. Yeah. His name looks like a Wi-Fi password. But
yeah, Dominic Sabulai. Powerful.
It's good for Liverpool. Well, many thanks for joining me, Evans for Juman. So for kickoff here on Citi 97.3 FM, in the headlines, under fire, Black Meteors head coach Ibrahim Tanko has charged the Ghana Football Association to offer more support for national teams after Ghana's disappointing elimination from the under-23 AFCON in Morocco.
I mean, everyone has saw it. Definitely, we are not the best as a country in Ghana. The FA, they are trying to change something, but definitely we have to do more.
Also, we'll get to hear from the new Liverpool signing, Dominic Szoboszlai, who has described his move from RB Leipzig to the Reds as a perfect step.
Historic club, really good players, good coach. Everything is good. For me, it was perfect to make the next step in a club like this.
More from the Liverpool player there, Dominic Szoboszlai. And this year's Wimbledon Championship gets underway today as the reigning champion Novak Djokovic and women's world number one Iga Swiatek are all in action. All this and more with me, Evans for 2 months. So here on Citi 97.3 FM. All right, let's get into the details of the stories now. And the Black Stars will face one of either Nigeria, Morocco, Senegal, Algeria, Tunisia, Cameroon, Mali, Egypt, or Ivory Coast in the qualifiers for the 2026 World Cup. This is after FIFA revealed the pots for the Africa qualification draw for the tournament, which will be hosted by Canada, Mexico, and the United States of America. Well, Ghana is in pot 2 alongside Burkina Faso, South Africa, Cape Verde, DR Congo, Guinea, Zambia, Gabon, and Equatorial Guinea. The group draw is scheduled to take place on July 12, 2023. So we'll bring you more when the group draw is held there. And according to the rules, there will be 9 groups of 6 teams each, with the group winners advancing to the main competition. The top 4 second-place runners-up will compete in a mini tournament, and the winner will proceed to an intercontinental playoff. So that's the route to the next World Cup in the USA, Mexico, and also Canada. We wish the Black Stars all the best and hoping that we'll all be in the USA for that World Cup. Now, the Black Meteors have arrived in Ghana after being knocked out of the Under-23 AFCON ongoing in Morocco. They finished third in Group A behind host Morocco and Guinea. And the team consisting of players, technical staff, officials departed Morocco on Sunday and have safely arrived here in Ghana. And certainly there was no pomp and pageantry to the arrival at the airport there. They came quietly. The technical team will now prepare reports on the tournament to be evaluated by the GFA Executive Council. And a good time to hear from the under fire Black Meteors head coach Ibrahim Tanko. He's charging the GFA to do more or give more support to our national teams.
Sit down and analyze the games we play. Definitely, there is a lot to do it better. I mean, when it comes to the trainings camp and when it comes to the tournament itself. I mean, everyone has saw it. Definitely, we are not the best as a country in Ghana. The FA, they are trying to change something, but definitely we have to do more. Like you said, when you look at the game against Egypt, and even today, you could see that, yes, I think we need to catch up, otherwise it's going to be too late.
And Ibrahim Tanko also apologized for his team's early elimination from the ongoing Under-23 AFCON in Morocco.
I think we disappointed them. We disappointed ourselves because we prepared very well, thinking that we are going to go far in this tournament. But this is what happened, and we give thanks to God in any situation. So, like I said, we just have to analyze the whole tournament from the trainings camp till this time and then see what maybe we'll do it better next time. But it's very, very painful, as I said.
All right, so that's the head coach of the Black Meteors, Ibrahim Tanko. He says he's sorry for disappointing you out there listening to me, Evans of Ochumanso, on Citi 97.3 FM this morning. Now, away from that, we know the semi-finals of the Under 23 AFCON are set for Tuesday. Egypt will face Guinea, and then Morocco will play Mali. Now, let's do some local club football stories next. And the brands and communications manager of Nations FC, Kennedy Boakye-Ansah, is of the firm belief that the newly promoted Ghana Premier League team will survive their first season in the elite division. The Ashanti region-based club, owned by Kotoko's board chairman Dr. Kwame Che, has appointed former Bechem United coach Kasim Mingilo Kanse to lead their technical team, which already has Johnson Smith, an experienced ex-Kotoko trainer. And Kennedy Boakye-Ansah has been speaking to City Sports on the club's strategies to avoid relegation in their first Premier League campaign.
Our immediate target is to be able to stay in the Ghana Premier League. If you check out the kind of recruitment that we are doing backdoor, we just want to survive in the first season. Because many times teams will be promoted from Division 1, and once you're unable to put in place the right mechanisms and strategies and plans, you realize that you end up going back to Division 1 that same season. And we have actually checked out what other teams have done, and also would want to tell a different story altogether. So for us, the immediate target is for us to remain in the Ghana Premier League for the first season, and then probably in the years to come, Nations FC will be competing for major trophies in Ghana.
Kennedy Boakye-Ansah has been speaking to City Sports also on their pre-season plans ahead of the 2023-2024 BetPower Premier League.
We'll resume on the 2nd of July, 2023. And we're also trying to augment our squad. We realize that in as much as we have a very good team, yet we still can rely on those players for the Ghana Premier League. Hence, we would have to go to the market and get some quality additions to the already squad that we have. But mind you, Nations FC will tell a different story altogether. We've penciled out some very good materials. We are in talks with most of them. It looks quite good, but in due time, we'll actually announce those signings to the team fans of Nations FC.
All right, that's Kennedy Boakye-Ansah, Brands and Communications Manager of Nations FC. Now, let's check out some latest stories from the transfer market. And the Times report that Man City have stepped up in negotiations with RB Leipzig over the potential record-breaking transfer of Josko Vardiol. Leipzig won £86 million for the player, which could surpass the £80 million United paid for Harry Maguire. Now, Mano Solomon is set to undergo medical with Tottenham Hotspur after agreeing a 4-year deal as a free agent there. Mason Mount, we understand, will undergo his medical test today. Then he's finally going to sign a 5-year deal at Manchester United there. And Arsenal and West Ham are really close now to a final agreement on payment terms for Declan Rice. And Brentford have also agreed a club records deal to sign centre-back Nathan Collins from Wolves for £23 million. And new Liverpool signing Dominic Soboslai has described his move from RB Leipzig to the Reds as a perfect step. The Hungarian joins Jurgen Klopp's side for £60 million after signing a deal until 2028. Let's hear from the man, Dominic Soboslai.
Feels really, really good. Enjoyed the last days, and looking forward to know everybody better.
What is it that made Liverpool so appealing to you as your next move, your next club?
Well, really a historic club, really good players, good coach. Everything is good. For me, it was perfect to make the next step in a club like this, and the fans, the stadium, everything is.
And what would your message be, your first message to Liverpool fans now that you're a Red?
That I can't wait to see you in the stadium.
So that's a new Liverpool signing, Dominic Soboslai speaking there. Now, Patrick Vieira has been appointed manager of French Ligue 1 side RC Strasbourg. The former Arsenal midfielder was sacked at Crystal Palace last season. And before I go, Wimbledon starts today. Novak Djokovic begins his quest for a 24th Grand Slam title. He comes up against Argentina's Pedro Cachin on center court. Last year's runner-up, that's Nick Kyrgios, has withdrawn due to a wrist injury. He was set to face Belgium's David Goffin. Now, men's 8th seed Yannick Sinner will face Juan Manuel Cerundolo from Argentina, and men's 4th seed Casper Ruud, who was beaten by Novak Djokovic in the French Open final, is up against France Laurent Locoli. In the women's singles today, world number 1 Iga Swiatek starts her campaign against China's Zhong Lin, and then Coco Gauff, the 7th seed, will be up against her compatriots, that's Sofia Kenin. 11th seed Daria Kazakhstina will face Caroline Dohide of the USA, and there's also a watering contest, eye-catching one, involving 5-time champion Venus Williams appearing in the women's singles at Wimbledon for the 24th time at the age of 43. She's up against the 2019 semi-finalist Elina Svitolina. That's the latest here on Kickoff. For more sports, log on to citysportsonline.com. #La Proxima from me, Evans Ofochumanso.
Passengers, mama me 2 minutes per why. Neighbor Cecilia.
Driver, you can't do this in London.
Oh, English, madam. We dear Mr. 1 minute per why. Shell,
Driver, we're in a hurry, please. What's all this about?
Oh, madam. Help me say thank you to Shell. Shell Fuel Save lasts longer and helps us to save more money to do more things. Also, because I'm a member of the Shell Club, I get loyalty points every time I buy fuels that I use to redeem gifts I love. I can get third-party insurance for my car, free medical insurance, provisions for my home, and many more. Shell day my side. In fact, when I see another Shell station, I will hug everyone there.
Hey, driver, what do you fire Kwanzaa?
Hey, English, madam.
Enjoy numerous benefits when you buy fuel from Shell. Get loyalty points to claim third-party car insurance, family medical cover, provisions, and many more for free. Driver, Shell day your side. Go well.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. If you need unique services, innovative financial solutions, we deliver on our promise, cause we are number 1. Let's go, we improve your life. Let's go, let's go, let's go, hey mama, hey mama, hey mama. Even when you're stuck with nothing, come to Let's go. No matter your situation, come to Let's go. Let's go, we improve your life. Let's go, hey, let's go, hey, let's go, hey mama, hey mama, hey mama. Let's go, we improve your life.
Leshego Savings and Loans. Let's improve life.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
There's no price like the ShopRite price. That's why we are committed to bringing you lower prices on all the essentials you need. Like 1.7 liters essential cordless kettle, only 189 cedis, 99 pence worth. And 500 ml Palmolive shower gel assorted, just 44 cedis, 99 pence worth. Never pay more than the ShopRite price. Prices valid until 9th July. Only at ShopRite.
Kid that collects straight A's in your sleep, a brainy brains that aces quizzes without even trying, or a clever clogs that knows just about everything, then there's one more battle you have to win: the Literacy Challenge. The nationwide search for the best junior high student is on. Think it could be you going home with 10,000 Ghana cedis and a glitzy trophy? Then, in not less than 600 words, write a story that ends with the following statement. The happiest people do not have the best of everything. They make the best of everything they have. Stories should be written in your own handwriting with the deadline of Saturday, the 15th of July, 2023 in mind. Submissions must include an endorsement by a parent or guardian and their full contact details. And once you're done, shoot off your entries to the front desk of City TV or City FM. Or you can send entries to PO Box GP 14123 Accra Central. For more inquiries, call 0558 973 973. The Literacy Challenge 2023 is powered by City TV, supported by City FM, and is sponsored by the Ghana National Gas Company, Ribby Crunchy Biscuits by M4 Foods, and SIC Insurance PLC.
I've got Bell back and I won't let go.
My name is Nanama McBrown. Many people think I get what I want anytime because I am popular. No, that is not true. It is because me and Kasano, I like the best, and when I find it, I stick to it. I have found Bell Pack Tea Roll, and I'm stuck with it. It is soft but not weak, strong but not hard. It is just perfect. Bell Pack Tea Roll is smooth and gentle on the skin. Same as Bell Pack Kitchen Towel. It cleans in one wipe. You can soak, squeeze, and clean again. One Bell Pack Kitchen Towel lasts longer and saves you money. It's time you switch to Bell Pack today and experience the perfect paper tissue. Say pocket tissue, table napkins, tea roll, and a kitchen towel. Paper chow. Bell Pack is simply the best. Bell Pack, just perfect.
To be a Bell Pack distributor, call 055 11 Another quality product from Bell Aqua.
Doesn't feel so good like Bell Pack.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation. The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Shell has introduced to our market the Helix HX20W50, the right multi-grade motor oil that meets the needs of commercial vehicles that run on petrol engines. The Shell Helix HX320W50 contains additives that protect the engines of older vehicles while reducing maintenance costs. There's no substitute for good quality You also need a reliable motor oil that keeps your engine feeling younger and stronger. Comes in 3 sizes: the drum 209 liters, 5 liters, and 1 liter. Visit your nearest Shell station now or accredited Shell distributor for more. So much to talk about on the show this morning. Quite a number of statements have been made over the weekend that require a bit of deliberation. Starting off the new month on those conversations. So lawyers celebrated the 41st anniversary of Martyrs' Day over the weekend. The gruesome killing of 3 justices and an army officer. Now that has been marked by the GBA, but the sermon was delivered by the Right Reverend Dr. Opuni Frimpong, who really hit a very important number of points. We'll bring some highlights of that sermon he gave. But if you're looking for a bank that understands you and puts your finances first, then look towards any bank. Whether you're a young, old, entrepreneur, student, or salaried worker, corporate entity or SME, a pensioner or a parent or a child, a Ghanaian resident abroad, Zenith Bank has what you need. Call 0302-680-884 or 0542 000 Send an email to info@zenithbank.com.gh. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. And Bell Pack has a number of products for your usage: our pocket tissue, our table napkins, our toilet rolls, or kitchen towels. Soft but not weak, strong but not hard, gentle on the skin, clean in one swipe. It's the perfect paper tissue for you. Call us on 055-114-4400. It's another quality product from Belacqua. But the positive news about the weekend is that the potential power outages as a result of IPPs withholding power has been averted because the ECG has come to an agreement with them to make a payment. So that's just a good update for you to know about. A couple of quick birthday requests coming through. Please, it's my husband's birthday today, and my message to him: happy birthday to my handsome and amazing husband, Mr. Davis Nunu Mensah. I'm the lucky girl who found a best friend and a husband in the same person. Thanks for always being there for me. I love you, from Mrs. Anita Mensah. So the husband, Mr. Davis Nunu Mensah. And I want to wish a happy birthday to my darling wife, Alice Ayi. May she receive the favor and grace of God. I want to tell her I love her so much. And we'll choose her all over again from Nisoa in Teshi.
How much you mean to me. There must be some other way to make you see. If it takes my heart and soul, you know I'd pay the price. Everything that I possess, I'd gladly sacrifice. Oh, you to me are everything, the sweetest song that I could sing. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. To you, I guess I'm just a clown who picks you up each time you're down. Oh, baby.
All right, so before we get into that discussion, here's a quick announcement from Royal King Cracker.
Yep,
Royal King Cracker.
Yes, they say take chalk your hunger. Now they've added extra free crackers in each pack, so you can hold off the hunger for a few more minutes before you attack your main meal. So grab your favorite Royal King Cracker and take chalk your hunger.
All right, so I'm just going to take you into an excerpt of the whole sermon. It's not every day we play sermons on the show, but I think it was the 41st anniversary, right, of the unfortunate and tragic killing of the judges. And the Ghana Bar Association and other partners had organized this memorial service at which they invited the former General Secretary of the Christian Council, the Right Reverend Dr. Kwabena Opuni Frimpong, to deliver a sermon. It was a long sermon, but I have a 1.5 minute excerpt, which I think captures the main argument he makes. And I think it will be good for our morning reflection. So here's Opuni Frimpong speaking about the judiciary and the legal system.
You think that, I don't know, I have heard that sometimes judges and the lawyers can talk and agree and exchange either gold or envelopes, and something happens. Some even can give you land. Especially if the case is land. I don't know about it. That there are real public perception that is not in your favor. That is not the story of these people we are celebrating. But after 41 years, this one here is your story. Redeem your public image. Ghana Bar Association must redeem its public image, because how Ghanaians are thinking about lawyers and judges is not in your interest. Even though when you die, we will not put you downwards, but people still think that some of you will go to heaven. I said this morning, there's still a notion in this country that justice is for the highest bidder. Justice is for the privileged individuals. Justice is not for village people, women who've been accused of witchcraft. There are people who still believe that. And that is.
So that was a Reverend Dr. Kwabena Opuni Frimpong speaking about the state of justice delivery in the country. And I think the point I wanted to get comments from the listeners on was, he's talking about the public perception. All right. In fact, let's play it again. He's talking about the public perception of judges and lawyers. Is there a way to test this? Listeners, what is your perception of judges and lawyers? Listen to what he said again.
You think that, I don't know, I have heard that sometimes judges and the lawyers can talk and agree and exchange either gold or envelopes, and something happens. Some even can give you land. Especially if the case is land. I don't know about it. That there are real public perception that is not in your favor. That is not the story of these people we are celebrating. But after 41 years, this one here is your story. Redeem your public image. Ghana Bar Association must redeem its public image, because how Ghanaians are thinking about lawyers and judges is not in your interest. Even though when you die, we will not put you downwards, but people still think that some of you will go to heaven. I said this morning, there's still a notion in this country that justice is for the highest bidder. Justice is for the privileged individuals. Justice is not for village people, women who've been accused of witchcraft. There are people who still believe that. And that is
All right, so the Reverend Ofuni Pimpon talking about the image of the judiciary and lawyers. I just wanted to find out, is it when he says people think that justice for the highest bidder, is that blamable on judges and lawyers? Of course, he talks about there's a perception that there's corruption as well, and the fact that people think that if you want to win a case, you give land or you give whatever. But I feel that the most important point he's trying to make is about access to justice for the poor. All right, that it's those who have money who get justice, and those who don't have money don't get justice, which is not an ideal situation. But my question is that not more a system issue, i.e., you're talking about the judicial system or the justice delivery system, which includes lawyers, judges, court clerks, the judicial service, police. Do you understand my point? As against, okay, let me rephrase the question. So is the conduct of lawyers and judges the most important part of our justice delivery system? I.e., is what lawyers and judges do that largely determines what people get from a justice delivery system? In fact, I'm not even sure if I'm using the terms correctly. Justice delivery, judicial system, is it the same? Justice delivery even includes police, right? So let's talk about the justice delivery system. Is the conduct of lawyers and judges the most important part of that equation? Or there are issues like laws, the judicial service, the way prosecutors behave, police? You get me? Is it fair to place the ills of justice delivery on the conduct of lawyers and judges as the two leading groups? That's me trying to make sense out of this very broad speech. I just played a minute and a half. Do you understand what he's saying, Sky?
Yeah, I understand what he's saying, and I would want to celebrate him for raising this matter and bringing it onto the front burner so that we can all talk about it. But before I proceed, let me use the opportunity again to reflect over the gruesome killing of the three venerable justices of our courts, their extrajudicial killing, their murder under very dastardly circumstances, how their bodies were subsequently discovered because the rains had intervened, and then defeating the purpose for which they were set ablaze.
Mm-hmm.
And also to extend my well wishes to the family, because they continue to grieve, although some say they have gotten closure.
Mm-hmm.
And may their souls continue to rest in perfect peace. Coming back,
I remember the names. I think it's Justice Ejepong, Justice Sarkodie Ado, and then Coranting.
Coming back to
Justice Poku Sarkodie and Justice Coranting Ado.
Yeah. Coming back to the question that you asked. First of all, we need to understand that a system has many components to it, and those components work together to deliver a certain outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Judges and lawyers are just a part of the judicial system or the criminal justice system of our country.
Mm-hmm.
You have the police in there, you have the society itself,
mm-hmm.
you have the parliament that makes the laws, you have other institutions of state mandated to administer
mm-hmm.
the laws in one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a watchful citizenry who must also play their part. Then you have the media
mm-hmm.
and civil society institutions that also police the process.
Mm-hmm.
But the people who play what would seem to be a public-facing role in the delivery of justice,
mm-hmm.
these are the lawyers and then also the judges.
Mm.
And so where there is a certain perception, either based on fact or based on a certain conjecture, that they are not living up to expectation, we all have got to be concerned.
Mm.
But this is not the first time that issues of perceptions about the judiciary are coming up. You remember repeated results have come in from the CDD Afrobarometer reports, which give a certain impression that the public has a perception that suggests that the judiciary is either corrupt or has a perception of corruption. And repeatedly, the calls have been made by those who police our democracy and rule of law, for that matter, that look, we should do something about purging the judiciary and the legal system itself. We also saw the Anas video and how much damage that did to the institution of the judiciary. Of course, others argue that because that was brought into the public domain and people saw judges doing A, B, C, D, collecting goats, money, and all kinds of things, and because the judiciary acted to purge itself, that sort of brought some public confidence back into the system. But it is not a one-off exercise, you understand? You don't clean up the system just by firing a few people. It's a sustained effort that you make as to keep the pressure on the bad nuts, if there are indeed bad nuts, to ensure that they are either found and dealt with or they change their ways. Every now and then, people continue to say these things that, oh, I went to this particular, court and ABCD happened. I went to see this lawyer and ABCD thing happened. And if you go to the General Legal Counsel, there are many, many, many cases of lawyers allegedly misconducting themselves. People are sometimes told, no, they did nothing wrong, they should go back. Other times, people are found guilty of having broken the law. All these systems are in place to ensure that we retain the very finest of the finest who have unblemished record to police our justice system. So the point I'm trying to make is that, look, if you come down to it, there is a certain natural feeling, which feeling is backed by some evidence, anecdotal as it may seem, that the Ghana Bar Association itself, and I made this point before, appears to have become silent on the issues that matter. Because, mind you, in the days of the PNDC, when they were fighting for return of constitutional rule, the Ghana Bar Association played a pivotal role. It was the front line role they played, trying to push back on dictatorship in our system. And immediately after the reintroduction of constitutional rule, they continue to play that part so robustly. However, what do we see these days? A lot of things have gone wrong in this country. A lot of rights have been abused with so much impunity. You and I sat here, we spoke about the Shaiman brutalities. We spoke about the killings in the north. We spoke about how people were beaten in is it Wa or a community like that. We spoke about the killings in the immediate aftermath of the 2020 elections. So many people have either lost their lives because the military, acted wrongly, or the police acted wrongly, or that institutions of state misbehaved. We spoke about our own colleagues who were brutalized by national security agents. And ideally, the Ghana Bar Association, which should be the bulwark for defending rights of those who do not have a way of speaking for themselves, on a majority of these matters, they have either been silent or basically just decided not to say anything.
Is their silence a recent phenomenon, or you could say for a while now? I'm saying this because there's a new administration, and there's a view that even the prior administration also didn't do that much in terms of the type of public-facing advocacy you are talking about. So, and you know the funny thing, I don't even know the name of the current president of the Ghana Bar Association. I mean, maybe I'm ignorant, maybe I'm growing old, but generally speaking,
you see, if the man is
a GBA president will be known by most people.
See,
I'm sure if you pick a mic and ask an average journalist who is your GBA president, they don't even know, because they don't issue statements on anything. They are not discussed. I mean, there have been lots of the issues, and for me, I'm not trying to hold brief. You could say, and maybe you could say that in the years that the GBA was very active, there was an easy target. There was a military dictator at the time, Rawlings. Of course, he became a constitutional president or whatever. But it seems as if you could say in the past decade, it's become more pronounced. There are apparent disinterest in engaging on any national discourse, availability for interviews. I mean, there are issues we even make attempts to get GBA's views on matters. You know, the last time we engaged them was when the Caleb issue happened, and we actually went there to present a petition to them, and they did make some comments. But they've been very reticent. Now, I don't know whether the lack of let me put it this way, the fact that now we are in a democracy, so they don't want to talk again, I don't know.
No, you see, Bernard, I think it is legitimate to argue that, if you are fighting dictatorship, you would be more loudest, exactly, more vocal. But the truth is that in the immediate aftermath of the restoration of democracy,
they were still
very active. And many of the cases that came to be decided in our courts, they played a huge part in ensuring that the right things were done. I mean, the most recent case, which is Locus Classicus, or maybe my case with the GBA and others, deciding whether or not the president acted properly in the matter of the appointments onto the Supreme Court or the Electoral Commission. That is the GBA playing its part. But since then, what has happened? Bernard, there's a certain impression that is created, and people sometimes may have some legitimate claims to make, that it would seem that when it is a certain color of political party in office, then they are quiet. And if there is another color of political party in office, then they find their voice. We all know that the GBA as an institution boycotted the Consultative Assembly. And they did so because, of course, people have said that they didn't want to mingle with ordinary people and all of that. I don't think that was the reason. I think there must have been a more legitimate reason why. But that does not mean, or did not mean, that lawyers were not part of the process. Because people went there to make submissions, and they came with legal representation, or they were part of the people.
Some of the prominent people in that body were lawyers.
Exactly. So we drew up the Constitution. But the point I'm making is that it would seem that, and people who make these claims may have some legitimacy behind them. When certain people are in office, they are treated differently. And when other people get to occupy the Flagstaff House, it would seem that a certain, approach is adopted, which is not frontal, which is not taking them on to say that do A, B, C, D. Because, Bernard, this particular administration, with the greatest respect to all the people serving in this government, mismanaged this economy to the point where you and I have had to foot the bill. Properties that we owned as individuals were taken away by this administration in pursuit of restoration of stability for the Ghanaian economy. We didn't cause it. We actually spoke about these things loudly. Listen, listen, listen. They did not listen. And when the thing went south and the S hit the fan, we were asked to intervene.
But is the GBA known for economic discussions? Isn't it more human rights, legal cases? And them, I mean, if you look historically at their public commentary.
There's law to economics.
Okay.
Property ownership is a matter of law. And if there is some unlawful or unconstitutional intervention, which means that a person's property is being taken away without lawful recourse, institutions that are deemed to be the bulwarks for protecting our rights should be speaking.
My other question for you is, the point you sought to make about when the different administrations in office and they are being more vocal. Are lawyers not from different political persuasions, so that even if MPP is in power, NDC is in power, there will always be... Okay, maybe my question is, are lawyers in Ghana not split 50-50?
Justice knows no political color.
No, you don't get what I'm saying. I think the impression, or not impression, the import of what I'm getting from your submission, part of it is that it seems as if when this administration is in office, or its antecedents, the GBA is a bit more lenient.
Yes.
Some people believe that is because that tradition had more lawyers, i.e., when they were formed under UGC, they were supposed to be a party of lawyers, businessmen, and the elite.
Yeah, that's
so. Is
generally
that
true.
my question is, in 2023, if you did a roll call of lawyers, would more lawyers be of that political persuasion than the other one? For which reason, if they voted for somebody to be their leader, that person would represent their views. I.e., the person would be somebody who is more what do you call it? More, I don't want to say the MPP. It's like more, just that it's like
sympathetic.
Yes, it's sympathetic. That's the word. So it's like, because it's the party of lawyers. There are more lawyers who are on MPP side. So when you become GBA president and MPP is in power, you can't talk much. But when you are GBA president and NDC is in office, because GBA, there are more. So that the question I'm asking is that, is it possible to say that there are more lawyers of that persuasion than the other persuasion, or of neutral persuasion?
You see, somebody has to do the math. What I can point to, however, is a study done by the Dr. Raymond Atuguba. But then again, even that, when you're approaching it, you ask yourself, okay, who did the research?
But he's also...
you see, so that's one matter. But he made a finding of fact, which you can interpret in many ways.
Okay.
We sought to suggest that even on the bench, there is colorization of decisions.
Was he not called to answer that?
There was a decision.
No, he made. Are you talking about the one he wrote or the one he spoke about?
The one he wrote and spoke about.
Okay.
So he made academic, analysis, blah blah, report produced, which was launched, and he said things. And for some time they said they were not going to hear him, and all kinds of things happened.
So he ran into trouble.
Yeah, he ran into trouble because he had studied the system and came out with certain conclusions. Of course, I mean, academics, as you know,
he was trying to look at the political coloration of the bench.
Yeah, exactly.
And it didn't go down well.
Exactly. And then also, the fact is, I mean, the current president of the Republic, so many people went through his chambers to become great people in society today. Now, the suggestion people make is that by reason of the association with him, they are unable to call him out.
Speak truth to power.
Exactly. But look, with the greatest respect, I once worked with a statesman. The statesman was owned by the current president of the Republic. And this matter is a matter of public record. But that does not stop me from critiquing the president when I felt it was necessary to criticize him. So what I'm asking for is that regardless of whatever relationship you may have with the president, of whoever is associated with him, what is wrong is wrong. Taking over our money the way they have done was unlawful, and they did it anyway.
I'll come to that point later, where in a democracy, one of the things we've seen about Ghana is that now we argue over things that everybody is supposed to believe is wrong. So you can say 35 years ago, when Rawlings was president or head of state under a military regime, it was easy to coalesce around issues and say we disagree because it's undemocratic. But in a democracy, it's almost as if for every wrong, there are people who are prepared to say it is right. So for most issues, and I think the media has also been blamed for this. So like for most issues, we sort of empanel to debate it. So we are debating everything, including things that are supposedly clear.
Yeah.
So it sort of shields people from taking a position. So they'll say, look, you don't want to take a position because there are as many people for it as there are against it. So why do we want to be drawn? So usually when you call them, they say, we don't want to be drawn into the politics of it. So maybe when we come back, I'll ask whether we ourselves have contributed to this, where instead of saying wrong is wrong, we have found a way of making a debate out of every issue. And by so doing, we have absolved our legal profession from taking strong positions on matters of law and morality. It's 4 minutes past 8, Citi Breakfast Show. Time for tech and social media trends brought to you by FB and Bank. Please put your children on their way to financial independence awareness with a Kids First account. It's designed for children up to age 12. Show them how exciting savings can be. For teenagers aged 13 to 17, the Me First account helps them to embrace the culture of financial responsibility from a young age. To find out more, please call 059-6921-921 or visit any FBN Bank branch. Do leave a comment on any of our social media handles or go to fbnghana.com for more information. Segment is also brought to you by Vodafone. The Odemu promo is finally here. Receive up to 20% of your money back in your Vodafone cash wallet when you recharge with 5 cedis or more. You can even send credit to a friend and they will receive up to 20% instant cash. So recharge with 5 cedis or more from your preferred short code, your Vodafone cash wallet, credit transfer, my Vodafone app or preferred platform, and win big. Vodafone, further together. Nathan will tell us what's trending this morning.
Yes, a few things trending. Efia is trending. Efia, the singer. She is trending. So it's all a number of things. So a few days ago, she was on the Onya TV, Onya Showtime with Nanama McBrown. She put up a very interesting performance. And then she said a few things in relation to the Sarkodie Yvonne Nelson episode.
I like the way you talk. She said a few things.
Yeah,
They are not too happy. She said, you are the master of euphemisms.
Yeah. You know, Ghanaians, we are very euphemistic.
You are.
Well, sometimes I throw off the gloves, but most
you
of
are very Ghanaian in your use of euphemisms.
Sometimes I throw off.
So
the
Efia
gloves.
has said a few things.
Yeah, she said she also dropped some keys here. Anyway, other trends. Olive the Boy is trending. Now, Olive the Boy is an up and coming Afrobeat artist, and he's getting a lot of traction on social. So a lot of people are talking about him. He's put out a few songs, and his songs are getting really good numbers on the streaming platforms, you know, in 2023, at least, when you look at the half-year report. So Olive the Boy is getting some great trends. Another interesting thing that's trending is the word Sabolai. The word Sabolai. Why? Well, it is a consequence of Liverpool's latest acquisition.
It's called a hungry guy. Yeah, it's called Dominic. A hungry guy called Sabolai.
Dominic Soboslai.
No, it's Sabolai.
The name is
Dominic Sabolai.
So he got Liverpool confirmed the signing yesterday.
Champion man.
RB Leipzig. And he's coming in. He's the new number 8.
You know, Sabolai can make you cry. Make our opponents cry.
So yeah, he's Liverpool's
Soboslai.
He's a midfielder.
Yes, attacking midfielder.
He's the captain of his country's national team.
Yeah, he'll be wearing jersey number 8 at Liverpool.
Dominic Sabolai.
Dominic Soboslai. Anyway, to some tech news. Now in India, a very interesting thing has happened. Now the Karnataka High Court has dismissed a case. So let me give you the background. In July 2022, Twitter took the Indian government to court over its orders to block certain accounts and tweets. Now, several free speech experts hailed it as a significant lawsuit. It was the first instance of a social media company suing the government over its content takedown orders. But last week, the Karnataka High Court dismissed Twitter's case and imposed a fine of $61,000 on the company for not complying with the contested orders for over a year. Now, Twitter has more than 24 million users in India by one estimate, and the verdict has left many digital rights experts worried. So the issue of social media, free speech, what I can say and cannot say, and the government meeting in that courtroom. And so that verdict has left a lot of people worried in India as to what the future is in terms of free speech, what I can say or cannot say on social media.
You never know joy if you've never had to.
One day, an old lady inherited a huge sum of money. Her family worried about how to break the good news to her. They feared that the sudden good news might give her a heart attack. And so they decided the family doctor who was experienced in delivering such news should be the one to tell her. And when he did, surprisingly, she just smiled. Relieved, he asked, "What are you going to do with all that money?" She replied, "I'm going to give you half." The doctor had a heart attack. People are often surprised when we put them first. At FBN Bank, that's what we do. We put you first. Open an account with us today and enjoy mobile banking, USSD banking, shop and pay with our prepaid Visa cards, MasterCard, and many other services designed with you in mind. FBN Bank. You first.
Hey, you ever buy credits where you get up to 20% of your money back before? Make I tell you about Vodafone's demo promo. See, anytime you recharge a demo, you get up to 20%, whether it be short code or your Vodafone cash wallet, or you don't use credit transfer to your number or someone else. And now you be high tech, so you don't use my Vodafone app or any payment app. However you do, Vodafone go send you up to 20% cash back into your Vodafone cash account. We'll reload the app, but then you enter. Top up your airtime with 5 Ghana Cedi or more in Vodafone's demo promotion and receive 20% of your money back straight into your Vodafone cash wallet. Recharge and cash out in the Vodafone demo promotion.
Vodafone, further together.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
There's no price like the ShopRite price. That's why we are committed to bringing you lower prices on all the essentials you need. Like 125 grams Abdina sardine in vegetable oil, only 8 cedis, 49 pence worth, and 340 grams Lily corned beef, just 47 cedis, 99 pence worth. Never pay more than the ShopRite price. Prices valid until 9th July. Only at ShopRite.
My name is Seth McAndo, a certified registered anesthetist. We've known Old Mutual for 5 years now. And for us, Old Mutual is more than an insurer. Old Mutual is a family. Since we began having a relationship with Old Mutual, in fact, we've enjoyed a lot because of their tailored-made products that they give the association. Now, our retirees are excited. Our prospective retirees are also happy going on pension. And those of us who will be going on pension later on in life, we also believe we have a future, all because of Old Mutual. Old Mutual is 10 years. And on behalf of my president and the entire membership of GACRA, we say congratulations to Old Mutual.
Old Mutual, celebrating 10 years of greatness.
Call us now on 050-157-9204.
Step into the light. I come all the shoppers delight. Everything that you want, we've got in store. So come on over to the mall with it all. From local to global cuisine, so much fashion on the scene. If you love gadgets, we've got them in hundreds. Whatever they need, we've got you sorted. Beautiful people all around. Beautiful people all around. Fun times never cease at Accra Mall. So much to do from morning to night. Accra Mall is the best place to be, no lie. So step into the light. Step into the light. Accra Mall, shoppers delight. Everything that you want, we've got in store. So come on over to the mall with it all.
Business today can be overwhelming. That's why you should partner with Carl Bank Business Banking to get the support you need.
Carl Bank Business Banking offers small and medium enterprises a wide range of strategic solutions to support your business efforts. Get financing to improve cash flow, funding for import and clearing of goods, invoice discounting, and funds for local purchase orders to keep your business going and growing. You also get to enjoy the benefits of CalPay, giving thousands of Carl Bank customers access to your products and services right from their mobile devices. There's a solution for every business with Carl Bank Business Banking. Call Carl Bank and get support today.
Carl Bank, forward together.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
People always talk about corruption on the bench. They think judges who take money. Now, sometimes our clerks, our registrars, The interpreters. I remember my own interpreter went and told people, you see, when you speak your language, I tell the judge what you have said in English. So if you want anything to see the judge, you pass through me. And he collected huge sums of money. Before I got to know, a lot of monies had just passed under the bridge. But sometimes after court, we see people bickering, murmuring. No, they've paid money and they think the money has reached the judge. And some lawyers charge fees and charge for the judges too. They will tell you that you think the fee I'm taking is me alone who is going to chop. The judge too, you see the judge's mouth, said, they say it in Chi. Judge in a num call, Muka say January.
Rap doctor, Shami Kwame. You know the name, right?
All right, so it's 8:15. That was a voice clip of the Sole Commissioner speaking some years ago. I just wanted to put this in context for those who may not know this. So the Reverend Dr. Opuni Frimpong was speaking at the 41st anniversary commemorating the gruesome killing of 3 High Court judges and a retired army officer. I need to give you that history quickly for those of you who may be younger. So on 30th June 1982, 3 High Court judges as well as a retired army officer were murdered in cold blood at the Bundasi military range in Accra Plains after being abducted on the night by unidentified assailants. Now, the 4, Mrs. Justice Cecilia Kranting Ado, Mr. Justice Kwejo Ejei Jepong, Justice Fred Pokusa Akodie, and Major Retired Sam Akwa. On the night of 30th June 1982, Mrs. Akranting Ado was nursing a child. And Justice Pokusa Akodie and Justice Kwejo Ejei Jepong, and retired military officer, were abducted from their homes. And Kwame Jepong speaks about what happened to his father and how he was, I think he was a 19-year-old or 18-year-old. They were murdered at the Bundasi military shooting range. Now, the PNDC administration set up a special investigation board, which is called the SIB, to initiate investigations into the murder of the 3 High Court judges and a retired army officer. Now, 5 persons were tried. Joachim Amatekwe, who was then age 32, Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Kweku Amedeka, he was then 27, Lance Corporal Michael Senya, 21, Johnny Jandu, 23, and Tony Tekpo, 24. They were tried by a national public tribunal chaired by Mr. George Ejekum, and which had other members as Madam Comfort Doe, Staff Sergeant Mumuni Seidu, Mr. Jenkins Kofi, and Lance Corporal Moses Tonka. Now, the case started in July 1983, so that's exactly 30 years ago, actually 40 years ago this month. So the case started, and then it came to a judgment by 15th August. So it was a pretty swift trial. So July 20, 1983, by August 15, 1983, the tribunal gave judgment in the case of the people versus Amatekwe and the 4 others. Now, all 5, except Lance Corporal Amedeka, were sentenced to death by firing squad. Now, Amedeka was tried in absentia. He wasn't around. And so, they were found guilty and sentenced to death by firing squad. And so, subsequently, Martyrs' Day has been sort of placed on June 30, the day that the 3 High Court judges were murdered. For some reason, the busts of the 3 High Court judges does not include that of the military officer, but that's a different discussion. So it was at the 41st. Celebration, or the 41st anniversary, that Opuni Frimpong was asked to speak, and he says that the public perception of judges and lawyers in Ghana is not good, and that lawyers must redeem the image of the judiciary. Now, my question to Sky was whether, if justice delivery is, and he made a point about the fact that justice delivery was only available to the rich, or those who didn't have money were not getting access to justice, and he made a few points about corruption and things. So my question to Sky was whether we could blame lawyers and judges for the state of the perception of the judiciary. And I think he says yes, because they are the main cogs in the wheel. But beyond the perception, so Sky doesn't really talk about corruption, because Opuni Frimpong has spoken about corruption. Sky's point is more about the issue of their silence, of the GBA in particular. So he's decided to move the discussion beyond the perception of corruption to the question of being quiet in the face of a lot of injustice, or just in discussing national issues. Now, Godfred, my attempt to play devil's advocate is that should we, the media, not be blamed for part of this? And I'm going to explain myself. So You see, one of the things we've done as a media is that we've managed to make a debate about everything.
True.
Okay, so there are some things that are clear cut.
They are not debate issues.
For example, how Domeleva was treated. I don't think it's debatable. Yeah. Every right-thinking person should know that you don't remove
an auditor general.
In the manner in which he was removed. All right. So that shouldn't be a debate. But if we look at the way some of our colleagues and panel to even the way we've even tackled that issue, we tackle it from a point of view of, but males too did it under some guy. So it's like equalization. Do you get it? So, and I'm not saying that GBA should not be blamed, but I'm saying that as a journalist discussing it, I have to accept some of the blame that there were some things that were so clear in the past. All right, and I just give the Domeleva as an example. There are a few other things. I don't know if there are any other instances, but there are some things that have happened in this country that we know that you cannot be silent on this matter. But somehow we make it, we put MPP and NDC on it, and then the GBA finds a convenient escape to say we don't want to be drawn into a political matter, or we don't want to be drawn into whatever. Meanwhile, in the past, they've drawn themselves into many things. But I feel a bit restrained in going all out because it's a bit rich for journalists to sit on air and to blame lawyers for being quiet. Of course, we speak out. All right. I don't know where you sit on this matter, whether when you listen to Opuni Frimpong and the way he talks about the corruption in the judiciary and the lack of access to justice for the poor, and the way Sky links it to the silence of the GBA, whether it's even a legitimate link at all, and whether as a journalist, we should be calling out the GBA for their reticence, particularly in the years that this government has been in office. You know, it's a very long intro.
Yeah. I look at this in two ways. Okay. I look at it from the Ghana Bar Association perspective. And then I look at this from the general judiciary perspective, which is where Sky was talking about. And also I think Reverend Opuni Frimpong did the same. I'll start from the Ghana Bar Association, and I largely agree with you on your point that Rawlings gave them a coalescing point. And so in that fight against most of the things that Rawlings represented at the time, which were things that by every lawyer's training would be appalling, they found a point to unite and be vocal. And in that, they found a strength to become a very powerful voice in the democratic process, which is what is supposed to happen. Lawyers protect the law. Members of the judiciary protect the law. Sky can correct me here. Okay, so in that, they found unity and a voice. Now,
hold it.
Yes, once that battle had been fought, and some might say won, I think the Ghana Bar Association struggled to evolve from that body to become a modern democratic society organization like we have seen other CSOs become. Even though they are, I don't know whether we can even consider them a civil society organization. I don't think that would be
a professional
body. Okay.
Is advocacy one of the responsibilities of professional body? Absolutely. Yeah, it is. So public advocacy is a core. So obviously to maintain professional standards.
Yes.
But also to do public advocacy in relation to the law.
Yes. So I think that there has been a lack of evolution. Now that lack of evolution, personal opinion here, has also been born out of the very significant political trends within the Ghana Bar Association. The politics of this country significantly dominated by lawyers, most of whom are members of the Ghana Bar Association. Now, the coalesce against Jerry Rawlings meant that a lot of the lawyers were of a certain political leaning, were of a certain political leaning, and they were the strongest. Now, once that battle had been won, and they no longer had to fight that war, they basically have not felt the need to fight for the things that they feel are right in that regard, because now most of them are in politics, active politics, day-to-day politics. Okay, so for me, that is where the weakness of the Ghana Bar Association has come from. There have been several opportunities the past decade for them to reinvent themselves as a relevant professional body. And for me, that is where I am surprised that they have not perhaps considered the loss of relevance, because that is what it has become. There has been a significant loss of relevance of the Ghana Bar Association
in public
discourse. Now, the pain also is perhaps they're not realizing just how important it is for the Ghanaian democracy process to have them be a very vocal part. So they have become resigned to issuing press statements, picking and choosing issues that they want to address based on whose matter is on the table and what the relationships are between whoever is running the Ghana Bar Association at the time and whatever issue.
What was the last that they issued a statement?
I don't remember.
If you can even check, Nathan, Google it for me. I just want to check the last statement they issued.
You see,
just to be sure that they are still in the system.
They are in the system. They issue statements as and when. But also, Bernard, it's the loss of power. I think what they should be very troubled about is the loss of power of the voice that they used to have. Because back then, personal confession here, my father used to be a vice president of the Ghana Bar Association.
So this would be in the early 2000s.
Yes. So he was a long-time secretary of the Ghana Bar Association, then became a long-time vice president of the Ghana Bar Association. So I know exactly how the Ghana Bar Association works. Okay.
So is it fair to say that the membership largely has had people who are more of the persuasion of the Dankwa Buzia?
I don't have data to that effect. But if we are to look at
the leadership of the association at the time your father was vice president,
yes, was heavily linked
towards
MPP.
So again, this is a bit difficult for me to do. So, what's the name of the current president?
Yao Achampong Boafo.
He took over from who? Tony Forson.
Yes.
And Tony Forson took over from who?
Mr. Zwenes.
No, he took over from this guy, Benson Nuchukwi.
And then Nuchukwi took over from Zwenes?
I don't even think. Yeah, I think yes. Charlie, check it for me. But I think so. It was.
Sky, you should know this.
Sky was not in the country when the changes were taking. So Nuchukwi took over from, I think, Zwenes. Not everything Zwenes was president.
No, Nathan can check this. It's not a problem. Nathan can check. Zwenes is not too far back.
But I know that Nuchukwi was president at some point. Tony Forson was president at some point, and then this guy.
But that's the point. Sky has just made the point for us. The fact that we are even struggling to remember when 15 years ago we were having this conversation, we will not struggle, and Ghanaians would not struggle to tell you who is GBA president, who is GBA vice president, who is GBA secretary. Okay, because of the power of their voice. That loss of voice is true, is gone. They need to reinvent themselves and fix it, and they need to look at themselves closely. Do we want to be a voice of the people, or do we just want to be political? Because I think at the moment that is the debate that they have amongst themselves.
But the question I have is, if majority of their members are of this political persuasion, will their leaders...
I don't want to say majority are of this political, because I don't have data to that effect. It will be unfair.
I see. No, because... because...
Just that most of the leading members...
Sky, the reason I'm pushing this angle is that it seems as if the people who've been elected to be president... to succeed to be elected to be president, you need to be perceived to be a certain way. I mean, when they do elections, I know they don't do elections on the basis of NDC MPP, but usually you hear that during the elections, this guy, they say is NPP guy. So
let's be open about this. The fact is, all these vanguards that we celebrated in the past, they have all been infiltrated by politics. That's the fact.
Good.
You can talk about the students' body, you can talk about labor unions, you can talk about the GBA, you can talk about even the press associations that we have in this.
So when you say infiltrated by, are you saying that the people who have been elected were elected because of a political persuasion, or the people irrespective of their political persuasion, when they get into office, politics influences what they do because they are not the same thing.
To a large extent, they seem to have a certain leaning, which leaning determines who becomes president or leader.
So your chances of even being voted for depends on which party you are supposedly aligned to.
Exactly. You look at it. Trace it from nukes. Go to the various SRC associations you have around the campuses. Go to Ghana School of Law.
Yeah.
Look through what's happening there.
So if you get selected because of your political persuasion, so right now, if the guy who won was supposed to be NDC, we would have had a more vibrant association, or vocal, not even vibrant, vocal. That's even a word.
Yes.
So, but is that what we want?
That's not.
Are we saying that? Okay. So are we saying that the association should have been more vocal, irrespective of whether what they are vocal for? So what are we really saying?
Because you see, the reason why they should be is because of the matters that they speak about. The matters that they speak about are not matters that are supposed to be clouded by political colors. You're talking about human rights.
Justice.
You're talking about justice.
Rule of law.
These are concepts
Transparency.
that require a higher calling of some kind.
I'll tell you something.
That cannot be tainted.
I just got a story online.
Okay.
13 September 2022.
What did they talk about?
Attorney General has called on lawyers to stand up and defend the judiciary against attacks, stating that it was a responsibility for them to do so. His call was related, and this story is from Ghana Web. His call was related to recent attacks, specifically by former President John Mahama on the judiciary.
Okay.
In his address at the ongoing Ghana Bar Association conference in Ho, this is 2022, last year, Dame stressed that it was worrying. So you see how the thing has gone. AG, that the NDC lawyers, so this is the Attorney General saying that the NDC lawyers had failed to call Mahama to order despite having made the comment at a party event. Non-lawyer Mahama made the comment at a meeting of the legal committee of his party. None of the lawyers raised a finger to contest the wrong and dangerous propaganda by the former president. By their silence, they became abettors of the propagation of hate against the judiciary. Dame submitted.
What did he say?
I'm coming. I'm reading the story. He reiterated that the fact that lawyers need to be the loudest. This is the Attorney General speaking last year. And strongest defenders of an independent judiciary, and by extension, defenders of the most crucial arm of government. I find it worrying because lawyers ought to be the loudest and strongest defender. Mahama told the guardian of NDC lawyers at a conference in Adan that a judiciary needed to be trusted by the public at all times because such trust had wide-ranging implications on the security of the state. He aimed at the current Chief Justice, stating that it will take a new CJ to carry out needed reforms in the judiciary because of a growing lack of trust in their work. The NDC has strongly stood by his views, while the MPP have slammed it as unwarranted and needless. So this, I think, is in relation to the election petition and its aftermath. I don't have the full quote, but this is a story I'm reading. Forgive me, I don't think I was following the news at this particular time. But it says Mahama told the guardian of NDC lawyers at a conference in Ada that a judiciary needed to be trusted by the public at all times.
But that without law is not.
That doesn't sound. Yeah, it doesn't sound, there's nothing wrong with that. So that's what I'm saying. That the journalist didn't give us the exact quote for which Mr. Dame was criticizing Mahama. But I find it interesting that the Attorney General only last year was calling on NDC lawyers to call out President. But I thought that was quite interesting.
So let me tell you about something I raised when you talked about when was the last time the GBA spoke and all of that. But this statement is not by the GBA, but was issued by a group of lawyers who also took notice of what they thought was the unwarranted silence of the GBA. And so the statement was issued on the 13th day of September 2021, and the GBA was preparing to go into their unusual conference as of that time. It says, press statement by lawyers on the Ghana Bar Association conference. Now, today, the Ghana Bar Association proceeds into conference. Now, this conference comes at a time when all time confidence in the GBA is at its lowest. The reputation of the GBA as a vanguard of truth, justice, and accountability has lost its shine. Now, as the conference proceeds to elect new executives, we call on the members of the GBA to navigate a clean break from the association's recent history. We invite the GBA to rediscover its voice and its role as a moral conscience of our democracy. We use this opportunity to bring to the attention of the conference the ensuing open statement. Now, the statement, which was open for signatures and has so far been signed by several members and non-members of the GBA, It goes on to say that the signatories are challenging the GBA to do better and to stand up for the defense and the upholding of freedom and justice. And it goes on to tell you exactly what the concerns of the people who put this together.
Let me get the story from Citi. Citi's story quotes Mahama directly. And then let me also make a correction. So recent GBA president.
Yes, we have that.
Yaboafo Achampong is the current. Took over from Tony Forson. Took over from Benson Nuchukui. Took over from Nena Megache. So Nena Megache is now a Supreme Court judge. Benson Nuchukui is still a private lawyer. Tony Forson is the immediate past president. And Yaboafo now. Zuenes was the Ghana Boxing Association.
Confused.
But he's a lawyer.
Yes, but I think because of your boxing committee.
So but I think he had
no, there
must
two.
have been a regional.
Hold on. There's Peter Zuenes, who was boxing. There's also Charles Zuenes, who's a lawyer.
Yeah. Yes.
But he's not a GBA president.
Yeah, I know he held some
Good.
position.
Now let me read the story on Dame from the Citi website. Attorney General Minister of Justice Godfrey Dame has raised concern about what he describes as unjustified attacks on Ghana's judiciary by former President Mahama. Mr. Dame says the unwarranted utterances dent the image of the judiciary, a development that threatens the peace and well-being of the country. It was a great dismay and embarrassment that I heard a person who has occupied the highest office of the land, that of the former president, recently launched an unwarranted attack on the integrity of Ghana's judiciary. I observed that this was the latest installment of a systematic attack by the former president, albeit unjustified. The Attorney General was addressing lawyers of the GBA conference in Ho, said well-meaning Ghanaians ought to call out the former president lest his conduct derails Ghana's democratic growth. I am compelled to comment on same in this state address because they border on the security of the state and constitute a deliberate pattern of conduct aimed at undermining the independence of the judiciary and an arm of government whose autonomy is crucial to its proper functioning. Such conduct is clearly deplorable, coming from one who has occupied the highest office of the president and aspires to that office at this moment. It is important for me to note that I express this sentiment not because I stand in opposition to the former president as a politician, Mr. Dame said. Recently, John Mahama called for a change in the leadership of the country's judiciary to repair what is described as its broken image. Mr. Mahama stated that the current state of the judiciary has sunk so low, and they give us a link to that story, which I'll read later, has sunk so low that it has lost the trust and faith of the ordinary person. Quote, so badly has the image of our judiciary deteriorated that many of our citizens openly make mockery of our justice system and of our justices. The phrase go to court is these days met with a derisive laughter instead of hope that one will truly get justice, unquote. There is therefore the urgent need for the Ghanaian judiciary to work to win the trust and confidence of the citizenry and erase the widely held perception of hostility and political bias in legal proceedings at the highest court of the land, the former president suggested. Mr. Mahama was addressing NDC Lawyers Conference. There he mentioned the current leadership of the judiciary lacks the qualities to redeem its sunken image, hence the need for a new Chief Justice. This is last year. Unfortunately, we have no hope that the current leadership of the judiciary can lead such a process of change. We can only hope that the new CJ will lead the process to repair the broken image that our judiciary has acquired over the last few years. I don't see how this is.
I think generally, that's a fair comment from the former president.
Doesn't sound as
I don't find anything particularly scandalous about it, except to say that if you call for a new Chief Justice when an existing Chief Justice is in office, then people will take a constitutional and legal view because, first of all, you cannot just remove a Chief Justice from office. There must be basis rooted in law for doing the same. So if those conditions required by law are not satisfied, you cannot remove it.
Let me give you context. Now, when you go to the original story, and again, listen, sorry I'm taking you back, but I feel like for the Attorney General to be saying that lawyers should call out the former president, I think it reinforces the point we are making on this show that if an Attorney General can ask so-called NDC lawyers to take on the former president for a statement he made about the judiciary, if you transpose that to current happenings in our country and the fact that lawyers as an association have collectively been quiet, do you understand the point? Because he is saying that for one statement that Mr. Mahama made, the lawyers of NDC persuasion should have taken him on. Now, listening to what the former president said now, it doesn't sound that bad. I don't know at the time what I said. I don't think I was in the news at the time. But at the same program, Ofosuan Pofu, national chairman of the party, lamented that members of the party had come under a lot of injustice in the last few years. He said the strongholds of the party have been target of unmerited attacks. He cited the recent incident of Manya and Yellow Krobo as clear examples of his claims and called on the legal practitioners in the country to avail themselves to fight injustices. So they quote Ofosu Ampofu to sort of give more credence to that. But my point is that is Mr. Dame's statement not further proof that the association has lost its position? Because we are talking about so many things that are happening. Look, SAL, you can take SAL.
Yeah.
A whole 4 districts or 4 communities don't have representation by some legal maneuverings. The association hasn't made any comment on it. A sitting auditor general was hounded out of office, claims that he was supposed to have retired. There was no comment made about it. All right. There are other issues that are more controversial, like the Jachi Kwesin case, which even a lot of people think is unnecessary persecution. But we can park that because it's still it's in court right now, so we don't want to go there. But if the Attorney General can call on NDC lawyers to criticize the former president, then I think that lawyers ought to be criticized for their silence on so many issues, because we've said things about so many topics on this program that we are not even lawyers.
No, you see, I just want to say that, first of all, let us not characterize that all lawyers are not speaking. The fact is, there are lawyers from within the association who speak. I am a member of the
personal
Ghana
capacity.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a member of the Ghana Bar Association. I'm speaking, and I'm critiquing our leadership for not taking up his old image and shoving that in our faces through what they do today, to demonstrate that they are still living by the standards set by the likes of Samoku Jeto and all these great venerables who led the GBA in a way as to bring its reputation to us years after they have left office. So that is one fact. So if we talk, then we should talk about the leadership. You understand? So the leadership of the GBA confronting the major issues that matter. For instance, the Doma level matter. These matters should not be left to civil society groups, just like
That's right. So CDD actually took the matter to court.
Exactly.
Civil society groups went to court.
You need the GBA to protect, defend, and uphold our constitution, no matter who is in office. Because as for the constitution, it is apolitical. You and I, through our parents before us, voted for it. And we have inherited that document. And we say that this is what we want to work with. So if you see a military officer go to Ashaiman, decides to beat up all manner of people for no wrong done, in this country, the legitimate expectation of every Ghanaian is that the institution of lawyers should be seen to be condemning that and demanding accountability. If you see people killed in the immediate aftermath of an election that was controversial in the Bono areas, right?
This is a Techiman North.
Exactly. The legitimate expectation of every Ghanaian is that the GBA that we have always known should be speaking with absolute robustness as to demand accountability, insist and prosecute the matter until some determination is made, so that the people responsible are punished. If you see in this country, the way we mentioned earlier, Doma level was handled. I mean, that's a matter that the Supreme Court had, and you see,
the Supreme Court also took
some time to eventually determine the matter, by which time it became almost an academic decision. Although subsequent precedents will be guided by the precedent that has been set, that you cannot just move in.
We only pray.
Exactly. So the point that I'm making is that, look, it is not the case that it is all lawyers who are silent. There are lawyers who have been speaking. And in fact, some people like the Honorable Dafamapo, minded by what they believe they need to speak, have also formed their own version of the GBA.
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah, they formed something recently.
The Law Society.
The Law Society.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah, that's right. And yes, I mean, it was in the news.
Find out for me.
Oh, yeah, it was in the news. The Law Society of Ghana.
As an alternative pressure group.
Exactly. And then, mind you, the old venerable Wadbrew also had his own group long before some of us even became.
But is that the solution?
No, that is not the solution. The solution is the leadership of the GBA and all of these groups that matter, the TUC, NAGRAT, the NAT, the Nursing People Association, all of these groups in the past, Bernard, were robust in their criticism of administrations in this country. The question we should ask ourselves is, why is it that today you cannot have a credible criticism coming in from NUGS, from the various student bodies we
I
have?
think you answered that question earlier when you said that the politics has infiltrated. So somehow it has watered down the advocacy side of the work they do.
Yeah, but you see, you have to understand that you are occupying a chair previously occupied by people who cared about this country and who did not look back to say, oh, because I have a certain leaning, I must be reserved in my approach to these matters. I think when you find yourself in these positions and you are put in charge, as I always say, take charge and do the work to the glory of God.
Let's read some comments on this matter. 054-998-6996. Do you agree with Reverend Dr. Kwamna Funifimfong, who says that lawyers and judges need to come out and help to correct the perception about the judiciary? The legal profession is sinking, and he says that they must rise up to save.
Who is it that says, Sky? That's the law is the public conscience.
Oh, that's I've forgotten.
Either Locke or Hobbes, one of them.
The law is the public. But we can check it right now.
It says the law is the public conscience. You see, which is why I'm saying I make the call on the leadership of the Ghana Bar Association and the loss of voice.
It's Thomas Hobbes
being born out of this no longer having the law as a public conscience. It was just politics.
Let me read a comment that will set the cat among the pigeons. This is from a lawyer.
Okay.
He says, guys,
the
GBA is a political organization and an appendage of the MPP. Even if a non-MPP person finds his or her way to become president of the association, they will find a way to make him sing from the MPP hymn sheet. Remember the treatment meted out to Neil O'Samuels for visiting Chachu, a member of the bar, in prison? Well, I don't remember, but maybe you will remember. Please remind us. So the point this person is making is that we are almost in a fool's paradise, hoping that the GBA will do anything else, because the association, based on its founding, I won't call them principles, but I don't know what it's trying to say, based on the way it has manifested itself in our country for the past, 4 decades, has shown that it leans towards. Now he claims it's an appendage. I think that's a bit extreme, but I think his point is that this organization is pro-MPP as an organization in its ethos. So even if you are an NDC person in the association, you are in a minority. So if you are a president, president of GBA, you will be isolated. In fact, it's like a guy who was on a WhatsApp platform, and then he was removed from the WhatsApp platform. He went to court, and the court decided that they should add him back. When the court said they should add him back and make him admin, then when he became admin, everybody left and created a new group. And they say he's going back to court to exercise his rights. So it's like you have been made the president of the association. And they say Sky be NDC, so no command up. We go command up. So Sky goes to court to say no, he wants to be president. It's okay, you be president. Admin, then it's okay, we will leave. So you are president of a group of one. And I think this is Kenya or something. Somebody said. So that's why I have an interview of the guy. So the guy, it be voice clip for you. I go even play show you. They come out. He was channel. You said it be serious thing. President of it was they impeach her where he go court. When they say if we make a mad, the people say, okay, we go leave you.
Okay, so you see, there are two things. I'm looking at this strictly legally. You see, the right to freely associate means the right to actually even walk.
Yes.
So yes, while that association remains,
I think he was causing trouble, so they promoted him from the group, and then he said he went to court, and the court said they don't have a right to remove him.
So
the court said now they make him admit.
And the people now decide that look, we are tired of this association. We are going. They're entitled to do that.
No, it's now state discrimination because they are discriminating against him. that everybody was admin. They didn't leave. He has become admin. They are leaving. So he has a right of fair treatment by the group. So I'm sure everybody can think of one or two people that they want to remove from their WhatsApp groups today.
Look, but Bernard,
yes, but let's go back to the serious point that this lawyer is making.
Yeah, that's right. See,
he's claiming that the GBA.
Now, is he a member of the GBA?
Okay, lawyers, please, are you a member of the GBA? Let me know.
Most lawyers are. Most lawyers. I mean, it's like the default institution.
It's like 80% or 90%.
Right. So I'm just asking. So when you get called to the bar, does it kind of almost mean you are part of the GBA, or you need to formalize your?
Well, you have to formalize. You have to pay
dues,
you have to pay subscription, you have to,
but the guy is saying that this person says
get
the
a certificate
GBA
and numbers and all
is a political organization. That is not wrong.
That's true. It's a political,
but it's not
partisan.
But was it always a political organization?
It's always been a political in the
that's
sense
why they do civil society, identifiable groups, professional bodies. Professional bodies were part of our political.
So there are lobby groups of some sort and advocacy groups.
Yeah, they are civil society organization in a sense. You understand?
You see,
they are key actors of our democracy.
The difficulty with this is that, unlike the GJA, where even if the association decides to be partisan, the members in manifesting their journalism are confronted with political issues every day. So you can take journalists and the way they work collectively and say, there are many of them who will not toe the line of the GJA president.
Oh yeah.
But lawyers, by their training and qualification, may not have the luxury. In fact, I remember when Citi started in 2004, 2006, the then Attorney General was not too happy with lawyers just going on air to comment by heart on issues. They want, I think, if I understood him, he said there was supposed to be some level of civility and order. It's like you can't just have lawyers just going on air by heart, something like that.
No, I think the framing of it was that a matter that is
sub-judice should not be discussed on. Okay. But I'm still saying that. So a journalist every day is confronted with political issues that he has to make a judgment on. Lawyers can decide by their training and their practice to stay away. So the only means by which they can ventilate their views on our politics is through the association. So a GJA can be dormant as a political body, but there will be journalists who you cannot. So whether it's Kwesi Pratt or Kweku Baako, they will say what they have to say. Even so, they don't take their materials from Afel Money at the time or the new guy today. But under the lawyers, a lot of lawyers find it's almost like the law is not the same. Do you understand? Because if I am a journalist and everyone have to comment on a political issue, it's part of my work. So I'm doing my work. Now, if a lawyer, a non-partisan lawyer, is always commenting on political issues, it will be found to be a bit odd. Unless, of course, it's within the alley of his field, which is why the GBA becomes more important. Okay, so a lot of what you are doing here, you are doing it as a journalist. That's why there are some issues that come up. You decide to stay because for law. So I feel like this claim that the GBA is a political organization, it requires a bit of scrutiny.
No, that's what I'm saying.
As a partisan,
yeah. When it's so you see, as a political institution, is not in dispute. The question of whether it is partisan, which carries a certain political.
And I'm told that without being a member of the GBA, you cannot renew your license to practice. So it seems like it's that's what I'm told.
No. What Brio has been practicing for so many years, long before I even became.
So he's not a member.
He's not a member of the GBA, as I understand it. He has his own 2-man or 3-man. Oh no, seriously. Yeah, I mean, I interviewed him.
Body.
Yeah, he has his own profession.
Why did you join his own? Why did you join this one?
No, I mean, this is the ish. Really.
No, because I'm told this.
This is the ish.
This lawyer is claiming it, and this lawyer is claiming that. He says, I'm a member of the bar. In fact, I am compelled to be a member. Without that, I cannot renew my license to practice. But for that, I would not have been a member.
I've also received, let me read this message out to you.
Yeah.
This one says, the way the GBA itself functions, and this person is a lawyer, says the way the GBA itself functions is very questionable. It's supposed to be a voluntary association. So lawyers only join if they want to, but they work in a mandatory manner. Says our regulator is the General Legal Council.
You see?
So every lawyer must pay an annual licensing fee to the council.
You see?
But the GLC and the GBA have entered into an unholy matrimony under which you must pay GBA dues
to qualify,
pay your licensing
fee.
You
see, so they've merged.
The person says that in itself is wrong.
Yeah, this is another person who says, Bernard, I'm a lawyer and I can attest that GBA is a political organization leading towards the MPP. My issue is that the association has more or less been made compulsory to all lawyers because it is difficult to practice the association. So I feel like, look, this is very simple. Lawyers know the law. If there are enough lawyers who think that the GBA, by tying its coattails to the GLC, is performing an illegality which is unconstitutional, I think they can go to court. And I also think that if they feel like forming a new association, they obviously should. Why not? We are the Ghana Federation of Labour. I'll tell you something. There was a day I was sitting with Abraham Kumsi and I said, you people say the labor unions have become weaker. And I was trying to blame him for forming the Ghana Federation of Labour. I says, no. When you are together and the direction of the organization is headed wrong, sometimes the best way to ventilate that is to leave. But when it comes to important matters of principle, we come together. So it says, for example, in the recent issues, they've collaborated. In fact, they've taken each other to court. But when it matters most,
you see the two of them together.
They come back and they do demonstration together. So, Sky, you people are lawyers. If the GLC and the GBA...
I'm here as a journalist.
Yeah, no. If the GLC and the GBA have come together in this unholy matrimony, and there are enough lawyers who feel that the GBA is leaning too much to the MPP, I think beyond forming their own association, they can actually go and test this issue of the illegality of having a voluntary association be made to compulsorily be the channel for which you can renew your license. Because once you pass your bar exam, I think maybe the GLC can regulate you directly. It should not be the association. Of course, you can say that the GLC has outsourced the professional standards and ethics function to the GBA, which is also possible. Because journalists, again, using our association as an example, one of the rules of the GJA is to help to maintain professional standards. So the regulator can say, look, self-regulate. So we are saying the professional body, accountants. If you want to be an accountant in Ghana, ICA regulates you because they have the standards for professional accountants. You can say that for engineers as well. So maybe it's not too far-fetched to have the Bar Association be a quasi-regulator because professional standards can be peer review issues, which is why they go to Congress and they can decide that from today, we will not do this again as lawyers. They all agree. So I feel like there are two things. Either you people should go to court to clarify the role of the GBA in relation to license to practice, or whether you can delink license to practice from so-called ethics, which the GLC is in charge of. Do you follow my point now?
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that as a matter of exclusivity of the GBA being the only conduit for facilitating your acquisition of license, I don't know.
So repeat that.
I think the suggesting that the GBA is the only or the exclusive.
That's what all of them are saying. That's what all the lawyers are telling me.
I cannot speak to it. I don't know enough in that respect to make.
But you haven't renewed your license yet.
No, I got my license.
You don't get me.
Yeah.
You got your license in 2022.
Yeah.
So
it's actually this year.
Good. So what I'm saying is that when you start renewing, then you will see the invisible hand of the GBA in the renewal. so because these guys who are telling me this, I've been in this for like 10 years. So like there's a GBA hand in the renewal, which for now is not obvious to you.
No. You see, the fact is, make the payment. Of course, you go to the GBA's portal to make the payment for the various licenses and the things that you need, right? Subscriptions that you want to do. Yeah, that is a fact. But as to whether it is the only way for
that is what all the lawyers are telling me.
There's a stark difference between the only and a
Sky
platform for getting. I don't know.
All the lawyers sending me messages are saying that it is by force.
How does what Brew get?
We should go ask him. He's the only person. Have you noticed he's the only person who is not in this thing? No, seriously. I mean,
because he's fought.
Yeah, but Rod Brew is an institution, so maybe he has a special dispensation as Rod Brew because they know. You understand? So because Rod Brew has been. I mean, when I was.
Oh, he's still a member.
See, I was born in Medina. As a child, I knew Rod Brew was a lawyer that people go to when they want help, even as a child. Do you understand? He said Medina at the time when he was coming to Medina court, and if you have an issue, he will help you. So even from those days, maybe he has a different dispensation. But most normal lawyers will need a GBA license. Nathan, read some comments for me.
Just quickly to mention that the Farmer Group is the Law Society of Ghana. And in fact, they came into the news after they launched, and then the Speaker of Parliament said something.
Yeah. The other problem is that,
and he's the interim.
The other problem is that
president.
if you take this matter of GBA and GLC to court,
That's the question I was asking.
I've never seen the GLC lose a case in our courts. Because the GLC is everybody who is, like, for example, students take GLC. Students, what is the question of bar exam writing?
It's GLC.
GLC.
No. You see, in some of the cases decided, in fact, in connection with the respected professor in the US, Professor Sari, some of these decisions, went against the institution. Although they said that, okay, for instance, in one case they found that the exams or the interviews were wrong.
Sky,
but they said that
fair
let's
enough.
make an.
But I think I want to make this point. Bernard, tell Sky that the only way to renew your license is to go through the GBA.
Okay.
So you, let me use your word, necessarily.
Oh, very well.
This is Sky's word. So, unquote, you necessarily need to pay GBA dues to be able to go through the license renewal process, full stop.
I see.
Now, Rod Brew revolted and formed the Ghana Association of Bar. But, wait, we don't know how many members they have, and you didn't choose to join. All the lawyers calling me have not joined. They are still with GBA.
Yeah, so that's the question. Why are they not with Rod Brew? Of course, Dapamepo has formed this one with some other lawyers, in the
Pascal, you know what's troubling me here? Lawyers, by their training, are the people who are supposed to understand the law the most. If they feel there's an injustice being done against them, I'm so surprised that they are not taking it on at the courts. Is it a question of their lack of confidence in their... Because if you claim through a text message to a journalist that tying GBA membership to professional license is even unfair. Okay.
Let me read one for
you. It is because...
You are saying it's unfair. Okay, send it to Shraj Impwe. If you say it's unfair, let's assume you are not saying it's illegal, but then let's between illegal and unfair. So Shraj is administrative justice. So you are saying that if I want to be a practicing lawyer in Ghana, it is an injustice to force me to be a member of the GBA to renew my license because the freedom of association, which is a constitutional matter. You can say, let's go to Shraj and say, I, Kofi Mensah, a lawyer who was called to the bar in 1986, I think that I want to renew my license in 2023 and I don't want to be a member of the GBA. At least test it in court. But for all of you, by all your education, you say you are not going to test this matter, and you are sitting here telling me that. So how will this kind of GBA, including the lawyers who claim that GBA is biased, they don't even have the blockers to even take their own GBA to court. How will they expect GBA? Just as I'm saying, Godfrey, lawyers are sitting here telling me that GBA is perpetrating illegality on them.
I've not said that.
No, I'm not talking about you.
How about you? Because I'm the only person.
And lawyers, people are calling me. Lawyers are telling me that GBA. See, listen to the contradiction here. Lawyers are saying that the association, some of them are saying the association has become MPP. They are not criticizing the government, and that they are not doing the right thing. Fair enough. Your own rights are being violated by your association that you belong to. You don't have the temerity to even take them on, to even charge. So what shows that if you even became the president, you would do anything better than the current president? Because is the GBA leadership more kakai than the government? I find it very preposterous that you say the GBA is perpetrating an illegality on you, and you have not even gone to Shras to say, Tony Whittal, Mr. Whittal and Co., I want to renew my license as a lawyer, but I have chosen to leave the GBA because being a member of an association is voluntary. Or the group, the Dafamepo group. Why didn't they all did it as a matter of public OJ say all 16 members or whatever number they are, we are leaving the GBA, we are forming this association, and we will still renew our license. And let the GBA say to them, you will not be a lawyer. They will tell you that you are right or wrong.
I think I will take you back a few steps to some of the things mentioned by some of the lawyers who have sent us messages, highlighting the alliance, or in their words, the unholy matrimony between the GBA and the GLC. So maybe in their world, taking on the GBA is almost akin to trying to fight the system.
It means they don't have confidence in the judiciary. That's what it means. Because why will I'm coming. Why didn't you hear the man? The Opunion Frimpong said, people now, when you say you are going to court, they rather prefer to either go to media or go to their local deity to deal with the matter because they have more confidence in it. Yes. Now, when you see people take matters to court, it is because they have confidence in the court.
Yes.
So when you have an election petition in Kenya, Nigeria, or Ghana,
Take it to court.
it's because they are saying that my rights have been violated, and I believe that this body can help me to
can address
yes.
whatever.
So if lawyers in Ghana if they believe the association is violating their rights, and yet they don't see what should they do? What are they telling us? It means that they either don't have confidence in the judiciary, or they are cowards. Yeah, that's the only conclusion. And this is not. Help me. I am using just logic. I'm not even taking a position. I'm just saying that it's very clear that if you claim that the alliance is unlawful and illegal, and you in the same breath tell me that the association has become too political, so you have two reasons to even leave the association. Your first reason is that they are perpetuating illegality on lawyers. Second reason is that they are an appendage of a political party which you believe you are not part of. And yet, all you can do is to say, we'll see. So it means that you are either not confident in what you actually believe in, or you're actually happy with what they are doing. Yes, and because there has to be a day where you stand up for what you believe. Yeah. If you claim that this is an association that has become a president of the MPP, and not a member of the MPP, then you should you can even sue the GBA. And said GBA, by its articles of incorporation, is supposed to be non-partisan. So why have we, for the past 10 years, kept quiet? Then you sue them and say the GBA leadership has not shown good faith based on why they were sworn in. That's why they take the oath. You sue them. If you sue them and they don't, you show, but they are not doing anything. They are not writing articles. They are not doing nothing. They are just doing their cases, and then they are sending text messages to me that I should go and fight for them. How can I fight for you?
Okay, Richard, did Ward Brew ever take the GBA on?
Oh yeah, I mean they have been caught. In fact, I think as recent as 2022 or so, there's still a matter that he's prosecuting in the courts. To the best of my knowledge, yes. He's almost always fighting them over one thing.
And I'm told that some people have won case against GLC. So it's not as if, for example, Susu won a case.
So that's the point.
So my point is, even makes it worse. The GLC is beatable in court.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
But if they are beatable in court, why are the lawyers who claim that they don't want to be part of the arrangement between the GLC and the GBA not ventilating that in court?
So that's
or even at the charge?
You see, that's why in my response to you, I said that first of all, I do not know enough as to come to the conclusion that the GBA is the only conduit for getting the license to practice.
Every lawyer says that's the only.
I don't know.
All the lawyers talking to me today say that's the only.
Let me read this one for you. Hold on. No, calm down. There's a message on that 62 also. It says, the GBA is not a mandatory association. The license to practice is issued by the General Legal Counsel through the Ghana Bar Association. If you have not paid your dues or are not a member, you can get your license to practice, except that you cannot use the GBA online platform, which members in good standing use. You would have to do this to renew you would have to then renew your license manually. By manual license renewal, you would write to the council for renewal and pay appropriate dues. This, however, will take time. It could take you 1 month or more to go and physically get your certificate to practice, whilst the online platform is instant. So with the online, you get an online certificate instantly.
We'll take a break and read some
questions. In fact, I mean, a colleague lawyer is drawing my attention to the fact that the matter you're talking about regarding renewal of license, I've not read that case. He says that he's gone to court and the Supreme Court ruled on the matter that you don't have to renew through the GBA.
Wonderful.
Today, if you go to the GBA, you tell them you are applying manually.
So my question to lawyers.
So it's not wrong.
My question to lawyers in Ghana today who feel that the GBA has become an appendage of the MPP. Do you leave or you stay and fight? And that's the question all of us will face. That's the answer you sent to me today. You are part of something that you think is going the wrong direction. So it could be a political party, it could be a church, it could be a company. And you feel
an
that
institution.
Yes. Yeah, so you are part of something that you feel is lost its way. So you are part of a church, a religious body, a political party, or an institution of which you are a member of. Do you Kojo Chumbuafo resign from the Presby Church? Or do you stay to reform it? Now, if you stay to reform it, they will deal with that when you come back. How does staying to reform it look like versus leaving to make a statement? And I'm using the case of organized labor as a case study, where there's a living example of the Ghana Federation of Labour, who felt that organized labor was becoming
something else.
They chose to leave, and GLC is very strong. Although you can say collectively, organized labor is weaker, but that's not just Ghana. Globally, labor unions have become weaker. Okay, by some of the new labor policies practiced everywhere. But so we'll use Abraham Kumsin approach. He went to court, and he still collaborates with the TUC. But he's basically saying where they were going is not right for all of us. Some people believe that when you break away, you weaken the front. So let's stay within and let's fight for reform internally. So this is where we come back. The lawyers who are complaining that the GB is political, I want to hear your voice.
Including the Ghana Bar Association itself, from what I'm hearing.
What do you mean?
Mr. Lawyer Boafacha.
Yeah, I want to hear from them. Me, I've been trying to get interviews with them. I'm not succeeding. So they can come and speak.
Then why is he complaining?
He's complaining about what?
That nobody has called him.
Are you kidding me?
So why is he complaining somewhere there?
Well, maybe they want a formal. Okay, so maybe what we need to do is do a formal letter. I know lawyers are very formal. We can write a formal letter. Dear say, I want to interview you.
You go on your break.
But if he's willing, we can talk now.
Go on your break.
Find him for me.
The move for food.
Now me mind the day. That's what they've invited. I don't mean.
Go on your break.
I don't have any relationship. I don't have any issue with him. You know.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Here you go, dear.
Mom, you didn't add milk.
No need to. Taste and see why.
Wow, but how?
Is it milky?
Very.
Is it creamy?
Yes.
That's Milo all-in-one for you. It's so milky, eh? I don't need to add more milk.
I love it, Mommy.
Give your kids all in one. It's truly milky and rich in calcium. Milo, energy to go further. This advert is FDA approved.
Now we go live in 3, 2, 1.
El Tatigo is now 80. It's okay, Abna. Say XLO, LTLO, say Sadie. That you know simple cry. 80. Simple.
Tell your neighbor to tell a neighbor that your favorite telecommunication network, Airtel Tigo, is now 80. Simple. New name, but still provides you with affordable and reliable internet, clear calls, secure money services, and much more.
80. Life is simple. If you want a British degree from a world-class university at a fraction of the cost, then join Lancaster University Ghana right here in Accra. With a diverse student community, vibrant campus life, and 50% scholarship to support your study, Lancaster University Ghana provides you with a world-class education that creates endless opportunities globally. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Apply to join Lancaster University Ghana, where learners become leaders. Admissions are currently open for our October 2023 intake. Apply now for our foundation and undergraduate programs. For more information, contact us on +233 030 221 8989 or send an email to admissions@lancaster.edu.gh. Lancaster University Ghana, the only British university campus in West Africa.
1xBet Jackpot is here with weekly massive prizes up for grabs. All you have to do is place your bets on any sports game and stand a chance to win. Simply register at 1xbet.com.gh. Use promo code JackpotGhana and place your bets. 1xBet is your key to great victories. Feel like a winner. 1xBet.
Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Children of Israel, won't you listen when I say? Won't you listen to me carefully? I was traveling up the mountains one day when suddenly I heard the voice come to I and say, behold, I come quickly to pay every.
It's 40 minutes past 9. I need to remind those who just tuned in the basis for the discussion. And I think it's very important because some people may think that, how did these guys get here? Reverend Dr. Kwabena Opuni Frempong was the main speaker, or he delivered a sermon at the 41st anniversary of Martyrs' Day, in which 3 justices of the High Court and a military officer were killed in 1982, June 30. In delivering the sermon, he called on lawyers and judges to redeem the image of the judiciary or the legal profession, or I don't know how to put it. Because he says that there was a strong perception of corruption in the way justice was dispensed and in people's access to justice. Right. Now, we dealt with that point where we largely agree with him, but we've expanded upon that to talk about the silence of the GBA on pressing issues. We gave an example of the Domelevo matter, where it was quite clear to those of us who were from outside that this was political witch hunting. The GBA didn't say anything about it. There's also the Sal case. The GBA didn't say anything about it. There are lots of cases. Yes, some are controversial. For example, even the transfer of judges. All right, if you look at the Opuni case, there are so many different things that happen within cases that a vibrant association that's policing justice delivery would comment on, because they would be in a better position to interpret what's going on. Okay, for some reason, that has not happened. Now, I am not on air to attack the current president of the GBA. I don't even know him. That is why I took the trouble to take you through presidents since Nene Amegache, Benson Nuchukwi, Tony Forson, and the current GBA president. So this has nothing to do with the current GBA president. We are saying that this what's the word we use? This dormancy is a judgment, it's a value judgment. Yes, it's our opinion. Has been on for at least a decade. So if anything at all, the current president has inherited an organization that is losing its relevance in relation to public discourse and advocacy. Advocacy is a very important part of law. Indeed, the lawyers are trained in advocacy when they do moot court. Advocacy is a skill to be treasured. And advocacy is not just standing before a judge and speaking. Advocacy is standing to speak for people. So civil society, professional bodies are supposed to be advocates. A professional body is not just to maintain professional standards, but they must fight for their weak. And when injustice is being done, they must speak. And we are saying that we don't see it. Now, if the GBA feels two things, I hope the GBA doesn't see this as an attack on them, because that's not the intention of this program. Right? My intention for bringing this topic is not to attack GBA, which is why I even took the trouble of saying that maybe the media's way of even presenting issues could be part of the issue. And I've tried to play devil's advocate on the program. So I don't want anybody to sit at home thinking that these guys are on air just attacking the GBA. That's not what we are trying to do. All right. Number 2, our platform is very open. We've made attempts to get GBA to speak on many issues, and it's not been successful. Yes, they've also tried to come and speak on certain selected topics, which the time has not agreed for. But I'll say to you that I will be the last person to say no to an interview with the GBA if they really wanted to give me to speak on any issue.
Yeah.
We haven't seen statements issued. We think that the association has become too quiet. And not only as a lot of people believe this to be true. My retort to lawyers is that if you feel the association is
they should just take their full barometer report.
Unjustly or unfairly violating their rights, and that has been clarified, they can go to court. I'm told that matter is no longer even an issue because the court has decided that you cannot force a person to be a member of GBA. So now, having done this, all those lawyers who are complaining that GBA has become too MPP, what are you doing about it? Because I think that that's the general Ghanaian attitude. We complain and don't do anything. If you say, as a lawyer, that the GBA has become too political, there's an example of Kenneth Kumsin, Abraham Kumsin. He felt that the labor unions were not going the right way. He did what he had to do. He went to court, he formed a new association, and the association is very vibrant. I even think that the GFL gets more media interviews than even the TUC. Particularly when it comes to the industrial workers, textile workers, all these tema workers, they are all under GFL. And GFL is doing the work. So if you are a lawyer who believes that the GBA has become too MPP, and you don't like MPP, or you're not in MPP, or you're just a neutral person, what are you doing about it?
That's
the question.
Let me read some messages for you. So this one comes from I don't think he's a lawyer. Tony Asari is not a lawyer. He's an architect.
He's an architect.
Yes.
With an opinion.
Yes. So it says, the boy. He says the legal profession has to do better.
Mhm.
And then he raises a couple of points. It says the boycott of the 1992 Constitution was a sin against the soul of the Republic of Ghana. Ghana needs a proper restitution from lawyers past. Lawyer Samu Kujeto has even acknowledged that. It was the lowest point in the governance architecture of our poor country. Now we want it changed or reviewed. For 10 years, the GBA hasn't made it a priority to push for it. It is unbelievable. 2, do a call. Ask how long simple cases run in this country. Even a simple case of someone clearly owing another lasts more than 7 years. Justice delayed, no absence of justice. Then goes on to cite the case, the example of Rwanda. As I'm told that if a case runs for more than 3 months, a judge has the right to explain. Maybe we can't just copy, but can we have a commitment to improve? Our justice delivery system should repent, turn over a new leaf, and look different. This includes what they were to court. Thank you, Tony Asari. And then you've raised this matter. It says the GBA is, somebody also says the GBA is not different from what it was in the past. The only difference has always been which party is in power. Wait for a change of government and reassess the GBA.
Another Tony.
Yes, this is also coming from Tony. Abeku, if you can help me with messages, please.
Yeah. Yes. So 054998699.
City, without your GBA dues, you cannot renew your license. I think we've cleared up that matter, so I won't take any of those messages. Bernard, this GBA GLC matter, we had the same problem as architects. A couple of colleagues took it to court and won a favorable decision. They are simply afraid of victimization. Bernard, this is the same for most professional bodies now. Before you can pay your Ghana Institute of Architects annual subscription, you have to pay the regulatory body subscription, which is the Architects Regulatory Council, but it shouldn't be so. Says yes, the conduct of judges and lawyers is largely to be blamed. It is very real. I will put it as 98.6%. The public's perception that justice delivery is corrupt is true. My family has suffered due to these two groups. I'm sure many people will tell the same story. Fred from Tema says, the work of the court clerks makes matters worse with respect to leading processes astray. At least you're able to read through the actions of the lawyers and judges. Bernardi, I, as a Ghanaian, is doing everything in my power not to go to the court in any way, shape, or form. If you don't have any idea of what a mafia group is, try our courts. And he's very, very upset.
So mafia you.
Just was the advocacy of the GBA not in response to military rule? Is there public advocacy role for them in a democracy? And that's what I was talking about, the evolution of the body with once that period had ended. Hello, Bernard. Justice in Ghana is a commercial venture auction to the highest bidder. Sometimes even your own lawyer can go to the extent of siding with your opponent and sell you out because the other side will pay higher. Freedom and justice indeed. He's very upset. Good morning, Bernard. Judges are corrupt, we know. Who makes them corrupt? If Ghanaians stop giving bribes, they'll stop receiving it. Let's change our attitude first. Fidelis. Julius from Mangwasi Senior High School. Bernard, if you have not been to court before, you will not understand the Reverend. Many people are languishing in jail because very influential people, politicians, and the rich have always twisted the arms of judges in their favor. Good morning, City. Please ask Richard Sky what he thinks of the Supreme Court ruling that birth certificate is not proof of citizenship. The Constitution says you are a Ghanaian if either of your parents are Ghanaian, and the birth certificate states your parents and their nationality. Does he find this ruling absurd? This is from David Tindan. Bernard and team, please check the whereabouts of the recent past GBA presidents, including the Greater Accra Bar presidents. And you see some truth to the perception that they tend to speak out when a particular tradition is in power. Jesse from Sakumono. The GBA has become an extension of the MPP, and that is the truth. We should not run away from it. It has reduced their status in the eyes of well-meaning citizens. In a future NDC government, I'm certain there will be an attempt to weaken it further. Okay, this Abdul Hamid Medina Gameli says, good morning, Benedict. Please check the trend of the GBA press statements and forceful advocacy. Majority of it is during the tenure of the NDC, and they tend to go to bed when the MPP is in power. Look at the travesty of Sal. Nothing from the Ghana Bar Association.
Lots of comments. All right, let me tell you a couple of quick things before we continue. I'm really happy to hear from lawyers because the question for this segment is, if you are part of an institution that you believe is lost its way, how do you resolve that with yourself. Do you leave it? Do you stay to try and reform it? Do you expose it? Or a combination of all three? I say this because there's a lot of, I'm seeing, there's a certain phenomena in modern Ghana called the I stand with phenomena. So you are part of a church or somebody, and then the leader is accused of doing something, and then there's like a
unanimous
hashtag I stand with Alowski. I
no
stand with
introspection.
so it
like that.
no, of course not. But I'm asking this for people who feel disappointed enough about the GBA as lawyers. But I'm also generalizing it because once you put the microscope on lawyers, you also have to put the microscope on yourself. All right. So there are a lot of things about journalism that I'm not happy with. I'm still in it because I feel like there's a way in which we can do it for people to still see its good side. So some can say journalism has lost its way. All right,
Which is legitimate.
When you compare us to some of the high standards of some of our forebears, you can say that we've lost our way a bit. But we still stay in there to try and correct it by doing things different.
even
also because we are not bound by what the GJA does or does not do.
But even Bernard, like, even on this show, for the past, we've been victims of, or we've been accused, I will not say victims, we've been accused of, 5 years ago you sounded like this. This year you sound like this. You used to say this, used to say that. So the perceptions matter, whether you like it or not. It could be true, it could not be true. But people will tell you that this is how I used to view you. This is how I view you now.
Okay.
What you do with it is up to you. You can decide to do an introspection and see whether it is right or not. If you don't feel so, you move on. Okay, but if you actually sit down and feel, okay, there is actually some truth to this, you work on it. And
It's a very interesting point you make about what people see. What we do, though, is to try by continuity for people to judge. Because, so take us from the past 12, 15, 20 years and put our programming into context and then decide for yourself where we stand. Now, I think if you look at, with all the greatest humility, if you look at the numbers and the feedback, the consistency is there. Now, I'm saying this being cognizant of the fact that we've sort of changed personnel quite a bit, but the general thrust of the show is still the same. We don't want to side with any political party. We believe that the Ghanaians deserve better, and our challenge is bad governance and bad leadership. Citizens must be responsible as well. So it's that's what we try to do. All right. There are days that we'll
feel at it.
That's it. We'll go like very hard, but there are days we'll also be a bit relaxed. So that's how I try and resolve it. I don't sit here to protect any political party's interest or to push any party's agenda. I come to push the Ghana agenda as I understand it. That would mean holding power to account and also asking citizens to be responsible. We've done this throughout. Of course, the tone can be different. Sometimes some people perceive a certain difference and a certain view. And that I can't do so much about. But if you take our program, even for the past 3 months, you can tell clearly when I came back after my bereavement. That first week, it was about, what are we talking about?
We're talking about the money that they have taken.
Yeah, it was, yes.
You know, and
DDE.
throughout that period, you know, so look, it's that's why for me, when I do this discussion, I always start with myself. That Charlie, we the media are not even perfect, but that doesn't mean you cannot discuss other people. In the meantime, if the discussion is making you thirsty, get standard water. If you are listening to the show and you're like,
there's a lot of
they are talking too much.
There's a lot of taste in some office.
Now they have sachet, bottled, dispenser mounted jar and customized water for your parties and special occasions. Call 0202 055 703 or 0547 334 385. Talk to us about all the various things you need in terms of customized water for your parties. If you want to be a distributor, you can get in touch with us as well.
Well, if you want to get some education, Heritage Christian College is a university set up to provide the missing link in tertiary education. They've got BBA programs, BSc Nursing, Information Technology, Information Security, and BA Theology. They also have 12-month specialized master's programs in accounting and taxation, accounting, finance, and HR management. They have media short courses and professional courses as well. Find them at Amasaman behind the Olympic Stadium, or call them on 0202 298 399 or 0547 77731, or visit hcuc.edu.gh. Heritage Christian College University training compassionate entrepreneurial leaders. Now, are you ready to feel the ecstasy of victory and the rush of a goal, or the goosebumps when the crowd sings together? If you are, then get ready, because the new football season will be here very, very soon. Only GoTV brings you all the La Liga and Serie A games, all the Premier League and UEFA games that matter. It's all the football you want and more. Get your GoTV decoder and a month's super subscription for 249 cedis and enjoy all the great games, because it be football overload. GoTV, love it. Now, First Atlantic Bank is working on the government of Ghana's digitalization agenda, and so they've made collection platforms and available so you can pay or take care of several things. One is the GRA payment, 2 government agency payments, postpaid and prepaid ECG payments, and SNIT Tier 1 pension contribution. Say goodbye to the stress and wahala of payments and switch to First Atlantic Bank's payment platform today. First Atlantic Bank, refreshingly different.
And Old Mutual is a decade old. Join us in celebrating a decade of greatness with a few facts about Old Mutual, a leading financial service provider that offers innovative customer solutions across Ghana, with a workforce of about 500 employees across the country, playing a crucial role in championing customer operations. And Old Mutual is the first insurance brand to introduce WhatsApp insurance and an annuity package. And of course, Old Mutual provides superior customer service to its clients through a 16-hour call center facility, a WhatsApp chatbot, and a self-service portal. Call 0501 579 204 or visit oldmutual.com.gh for more information. All right, I'm getting a few more comments on the subject under discussion. Would you join? No, I don't think that's a fair question. I'm even ask you. I don't think it's the first question to ask you. So, will the GBA speak to us on this? Are they minded to make a comment?
Sure, we'll find out.
Yeah, I've been trying to get them to speak to me in a while. I don't know whether I'm using the wrong approach. I'm talking to the wrong people. Maybe I should try and arrange the interviews in a different. Yeah. In the meantime, the Domahine has appealed to the AG to drop the criminal charge against James Achikwesi. I want to play that voice clip quickly.
Okay.
And
when you're done, I also have.
Yes. Let me just. I think, but you couldn't retrieve the voice. Did you get it?
No, I have
the
my voice.
sports guy.
Oh, I have my voice.
Okay, so let me just play Domahine quickly, and I'll come to you on the sports one. So just this is Osajifo Osiadeyo Ajimambedu the second.
I'm on Supreme Court, yes, sir. Nabatwa betu ebenye de bentwem. Yamubi no krenim bian kasa de. Same o Supreme Court kasa gina ye no kame na collect. Kame ko right. Na nemti agama kono. Wan hwe no ne bedi sa asem ya wo. Ntimi nkoka bi. Na mo mesra and the Attorney General of Ghana. Emrama ne kwame se ade bi ekoso na ohwe Ghana fo anigye nim a otumi ye de otwaso. Na no ase no. Be se papa no ba twa na konyanum so onya MPB o no. Bankoto foforo. Batoma na na se banto amano. Banto amano. Anya overwhelming majority no nya 57.56 or you be ketwa wa batum. As a matter of urgency, I'm appealing to the President of the Attorney General, President of the Republic, if he has any role to play, that trial should be aborted. The Attorney General should, as a matter of urgency, file a nolle prosequi to end that particular decision. Sir, make a way because that was what. Ma, ye did the Ghana for attempt. Ye did the Asenov for attempt. No cranny, somebody engineer, me who sabi. Mpaswabia at the Bebra Ghana, said down for no, the Bepako prosecute no. Now, so the Nigina quarter. Nabatwamani, MP Edman over and Agago. Ankoyo amaya nshamra papa amasabi Ghana for enye juma amampuntu akwa. No betima blame no. It's on this day. Na me catch say Samri, you are president. You know I love you. This matter cannot go on. Attorney General. Odame, prayer de share, bono de share. Shawumum Coco Chasem, if you are Niankoyanim as Ghana.
So that was the Domahini Osajifo Osiadio Ajimambedu, who was speaking at an event recently. I'm not sure how to proceed here. For me, I think there's a clarification that needs to be made, that the case is of a criminal nature, therefore the AG is the person to deal with, not the president, right? Yeah, so the president cannot be the one to stop the case.
If he intervenes and does anything, I myself will file proceedings to have him removed as president.
Oh, please. But the AG is the person who's supposed to be.
I'm just saying, because
you can say whatever I want to say. I'm just saying that the clarification is that if he's going to appeal for the matter to be stopped, and estoppel, as you people call it, it has to be the AG, not the president.
So let me put it this way: the president under our constitution has nothing to do with processes that are of this particular nature. He is removed from it. People say all kinds of things.
It's not supposed to have.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not so. The law is clear as to what the president can do and cannot do. The only time that the president comes in is where a person is convicted and he decides, with the advice of the Council of State or whoever the person is or institution is, to grant clemency, right? But where an active case is being prosecuted, the president has absolutely no power to order the Attorney General to act in one way or the other. That's wrong. And so the president can't be invited in this matter. Now, the other side of the matter is the provisions of Article 88 of the Constitution. Under Article 88 of the Constitution, yes, it is the case that the Attorney General is sued in civil matters, against the state, and in criminal matters, he initiates legal, prosecution for and on behalf of the state. So this particular matter was at the instant of a suit issued by the Attorney General on this matter. So he has the power to actually discontinue the proceedings. There are two ways of doing it. He may file a nolle prosequi, which says that we are no longer as a state interested in prosecuting this matter, and then bring the proceedings to a closure, because the court cannot compel him to prosecute a matter the state is not interested in prosecuting. The problem with that, though, is that the matter can be revived any day and prosecuted.
So it's sometimes better to get to the logical conclusion of the case, to absolve the man rather than to discontinue, because somebody can
another Attorney General can decide to prosecute. However, there's also another way of doing it, which is withdrawing the case. Now, withdrawing the case, the implications would different.
It's different from a non-prosecutor.
Depending on at what point the case is withdrawn. So, for instance, let me explain. So, if the case is withdrawn before the two sides close their cases, in that case, there can be risk of re-prosecuting the case. But if the two sides close the case, it was up to now the judge for the judge to come and make a pronouncement as to the decision he's making one way or the other, and then the Attorney General files to withdraw the matter. In that case, there's no possibility of retrying the case or prosecuting the case again. The only caution that I want to issue is that we should not get to a point where we outsiders are trying to determine the prosecutorial powers or what the Attorney General does or doesn't do. Because if we set the precedence of saying, oh, this particular matter doesn't matter, don't prosecute it. That one doesn't matter, that doesn't matter, don't prosecute it. As for this one, it matters. What parameters are we setting? The Attorney General under the Constitution has the powers to prosecute. And that power, not even the courts can interfere with it.
But you see, we understand all that too. But if we also perceive... I get what you're saying. I'm saying that if we perceive from the outside that this is a political witch hunt, in the sense that, look, me, I'm not a lawyer. But when I see... The way I see this is that the person was elected and the judicial process eventually said that it was unlawful because he didn't go through the right process, he was not qualified, and therefore his election is null and void. Fair enough. He's gone for by-election, he's won. Now, we are told that even before he went for by-election, there was a criminal case around perjury that has to be determined. So legally, you can have a case. But I'm saying that from outside, I side with the Domahini. It's like, you know what? This is absurd. The people have spoken. They want him to be their MP. Allow the guy to do his work. I'm sure lawyers will say, oh, yes, but what if he did perjury? We have to prove it in court. Fine, prove it in court. But that does not change the perception I have that it's a political witch hunt.
You see,
which I am entitled to. And I'm coming. I don't need your legal education to convince me that what is happening is not a legal witch hunt, a political witch hunt. Because this is politics, not law. I am saying that, I'm saying what I'm seeing politically. You can tell me that legally, you see, that's the thing about law. There are so many things you can do which legally will be right, or which you can find a justification in law for doing. But when you put it all together from the lens of politics, it seems to be a witch hunt.
Bernard, you see, that's where I hope we would not get to. And it will be unfortunate to take a view that is dangerous. And
How is my view dangerous?
Okay, so let me put it this way. You see, as a matter of fact, we have had politicians elected to serve their people prosecuted in this country. There are many of them. There's a long list of them. I can give you all the names.
I've not said that that's not the case.
No, I'm just saying.
Let's not debate this.
No.
Let's just agree to disagree.
No. We will agree to disagree. But you see, we are on radio.
Yeah, but I see it as you are saying that there's a reason that the matter has to be cleared. And I appreciate the fact that you make that. It may even be better for the matter to get to its conclusion rather than a nulli prosequi, because you want it to get to a point where the man, if it's absorbed completely. I am saying that that's fine. I'm not having a legal quarrel with you. I am saying that from what the Asin South people did, they want education to be their MP.
You see,
I'm not saying that if he's done something wrong, it should not be. But the circumstances under which he's being prosecuted, even the judgment of the court about his so-called, again, from a layman's perspective, I disagree with the court. I'm entitled to do that. Now, the fact that I'm already doesn't mean I cannot express that view.
No, I'm just saying, you see, the reason I'm sitting here, and I also have my own views. I'm saying that, look, history supports the fact that members of parliament sitting have been prosecuted, right?
And that did not stop people from thinking what they thought about the prosecution.
That's okay.
I am not oblivious of that history. I am saying that the way this trial is going for me, I agree with what the Domahini is saying. You disagree. We can just leave it like that.
No,
we don't have to litigate it.
No, it's because we are educating the public. And I took the trouble to explain to you the role of the president, the role of the attorney general.
Yeah.
And that we should not send a precedent. Which precedent is that when the attorney general is prosecuting a matter, he's overlord. So that maybe tomorrow I become the...
Yeah, but that point has been clarified. I'm talking about the Attorney General himself,
I'm just
not the President.
No, hold on. You see, I'm making a point. Allow me to make my point. I'm saying that the precedent that we are setting going forward is that when an active prosecution is going on, the chief of my area, assuming I'm the Attorney General, maybe Togbi Jabli Anthony or Togbi, Venya or whoever is the authority in my area, calls me and says, don't prosecute this matter. And willy-nilly, I go with the view that the chief takes. I don't think that is what the precedent that we want to say.
Yeah, but I'm saying that
it is the same way.
I'm saying that in the context of a discussion about people speaking about what they consider to be right or wrong, and it's not every day that I come and share my opinion. But I'm saying that when I look at this from a political lens, I've interviewed politicians around Asin North. I see it as a political witch hunt. That's how I see it. It's not. I'm not saying that is what it is.
Hold on. Let me ask a question.
Yes.
When Adamu Dramani was prosecuted, was it political witch hunt?
I don't have all the facts of that.
Hold on.
So hold on. I wasn't. You see, I don't want us to go there. I am not in even. Okay, so the fact that somebody has been prosecuted in the past for something, does that mean that I cannot comment on what I see now?
I'm not saying that you shouldn't comment. I am saying that let's not create a precedent that suggests that when the Attorney General is exercising his prosecutorial powers, the chief of his area has authority to call him and say, Mr. Attorney General, don't prosecute case A, you can prosecute case
That is
B.
correct. I won't quarrel with you on that. Because we don't want chiefs to do that.
And then also...
But hold on. We are also saying, you see, there are two things we have to be clear. We have said that we don't want traditional authorities to call, or whichever pastors or whoever to call in. That can be true, which is true. But I'm also saying that we've also just had a discussion about people speaking up on what they consider to be wrong. And I'm saying in the spirit of that, and which is why I'm saying to you that from a legal perspective, you can have a case that there's a precedent and the matter must be prosecuted. But I'm saying that when I see it from a political lens, it appears to me to be a witch hunt. And that is my view, which I'm entitled to. And the chief is not ordering the Attorney General to stop anything. He is expressing his view on the matter.
Hold on, Bernard. The chief is not just one chief. He's a judge and he's a chief, right?
Yeah.
What you say carries a lot of weight. And if you sit on this program and you say that
I believe that
in your view, this is political witch hunt, Bernard, I think that's a step too far. The point I'm making is that I'm trying to moderate that which you have said.
It appears to be.
That's okay. I'm saying that you are entitled to say what you are saying. However, what you say has implications. And I'm saying that it is within, you never know. Tomorrow the Attorney General can decide that, look, I'm not interested in this matter. Let him make that determination. I wrote an article about that.
But let me ask you.
And I made 3 points.
Don't public comment what will be the basis for he deciding? Is it just purely law? Can he not say that based on public sentiment or public interest? You see, because I'm saying that I can't argue with you on law. And I think that on law, he may have a case. Right? But I'm saying that when we look at the way we govern, it's not just, for example, there's even an election, right? There's been an election which is 18 months to a general election. And there's been a clear verdict based on the election. Continuing the prosecution sends the wrong signal. That there's a determination to jail the guy.
You see,
that's what I'm saying. It creates, we have to address carefully. It creates a signal. So you are telling me that legally he's cool.
Let's separate the issues. The man is being prosecuted for allegedly breaking the law prior to being elected to become a member of parliament. So allegedly, and I'm speaking, I know what I'm talking about. Allegedly, he broke the law before he was elected member of parliament. Now, the position you are trying to articulate suggests that merely because his people have elected him to serve them in parliament and subsequently endorsed him again overwhelmingly, the expression of political will should stand in the way of a belief the Attorney General has on the basis of some evidence that he's broken the law. And I'm saying that is a dangerous path to traverse, because merely because a person is elected. So, for instance, if for some reason a president tomorrow breaks the law before becoming president, and we want to take lawful action against it, we should argue that merely because he's been elected president.
I'll take your point in the sense that let's trust the courts to rather finish the process than to truncate the process on the basis that somebody thinks it's a witch hunt.
Yes.
So that if there's no merit in the case, the court will prove it.
Yes. And
okay. Yeah. I think that's a fair position to take. I am minded to take your view now, since you are the one with the higher education. So
please,
I think you've made sense to me. So your point is that even if whatever I feel is whatever, the best place to get that clear is the court. And as soon as the court does that, it will be in the man's own interest or whoever's interest. Justice will be served. So if the man stops the trial or the case now, it's a bad precedent. Fair enough. We'll take a short break. We'll be back. That's why we have to go to law school.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Hey, are you worried about your parties, weddings, hangouts, or what drink to enjoy for the celebration? Or you're worried about how to celebrate your friends and family during that special occasion? Bigo. Now that is Bigo. With Bigo, no wahala for the occasion. They made it for everyone to enjoy and have the ideal celebration. Bigo, the soft drinks that comes in 16 and 20 in a pack. Hey, Charlie, that is Bigo. A lot to go around in various packs. It's refreshing and good quality. Now that is Bigo. The taste is Bigo. Another quality product from Trillium Industries Limited. This advert is FDA approved. Bigo.
Are you looking for a university that will prepare you for the challenges of tomorrow? Look no further than Academic Citi University College. With a focus on innovation and experiential learning, you'll get hands-on experience in your field. Our world-class faculty will guide you every step of the way. And our collaborative approach to learning will prepare you for success in today's global economy. So if you are ready to make your mark on the world, Academic Citi University College is here to help you succeed. Apply now at our website www.act.edu.gh or call us on 059-403-0308. Academic Citi University College, educating future-ready leaders.
Here you go, dear.
Mom, you didn't add milk.
No need to. Taste and see why.
Wow, but how?
Is it milky?
Very.
Is it creamy?
Yes.
That's Milo all-in-one for you. It's so milky, eh? I don't need to add more milk.
I love it, Mommy.
Give your kids all in one. It's truly milky and rich in calcium. Milo, energy to go further. This advert is FDA approved.
Charlie, that be a sound you hear when things make hot. I'm sure this is not battery, just cash flow. Lajan no day. It is safe to say we are all facing challenging times. We are all wondering how we are going to lighten our financial burdens. Nowhere cool, but don't worry. With a little help from your trusted bank, Citi General Ghana, be Biara fine. Citi General Ghana is making all its customers happy with the Yatis Loans promo. In fact, SG Ghana customers and even non-customers who are on the controller and accountant general payroll can enjoy access to our amazing discounted loans. Don't waste time. Get your loan today. Step into a branch or call 0302-214-314 to get the ball rolling. Terms and conditions apply. Remember, promotion ends on 7th August 2023. Societe Generale Ghana. The future is you.
You worry, just be happy.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
All right, now this morning is a very interesting morning. We are basing our discussions purely on what other people have said, which is quite interesting. We started off by talking about the Reverend Dr. Kwabena Puni-Frimpong's charges that lawyers and judges should work to correct perception of the judiciary. We agree with him, and we've extended that to say GB has been too silent. We spend way too much time on that. The Domahini case, I think all of us have agreed that maybe the best place for this to be resolved is the courts, in the interest of all concerned. And we trust that our judiciary will do a good job. Or we hope and pray they do, so that it brings the matter to a conclusion. And we don't want precedents set because a chief has said something. So I think I've sort of amended my view a bit, Sky being the lawyer on the show. Now, Godfred has just 3 minutes, so he can't do a lot with this. But what I'll do, I'm going to promise you a full show tomorrow on sports. You know why? On my timeline on social media, a lot of people were arguing about the current FA president's tenure. Now, I know there's an election coming up
in October,
so I am careful not
if there will be.
Yes, I'm careful not to be drawn into somebody's political agenda to either remove him or maintain him.
Certainly.
But I still feel that we need to have a discussion about football and sports generally, because look at Ghana's Black Meteors. Almost all our junior national teams have been embarrassed or failed, whether it's a CHAN, under 21. We are not doing well with the funnel. All right. And then this happened at the time where there's a lot of discussion about the current FA president's tenure. And then you have a deputy sports minister who goes to Morocco to speak about the pitches, which comes to, for example, is there a policy guiding sports development? And does the policy say anything about the type of pitches to use? Because in any serious country, there's no thing. For example, last week I was emceeing a program. So I'm thinking of the I was emceeing a program. This government did something very interesting. 2019, they came up with the automotive development policy. That policy created laws that impose certain taxes. 3 years later, you have 8 original equipment manufacturers, with about 5 of them assembling vehicles in Ghana, almost 5,000 vehicles. So you see policy, law, implementation, result. 2019. And the deputy minister and the minister, this guy, Katie Hammond, he was explaining what they were trying to do. And he was on point. The Befi as well. Come to sports. And I'm not trying to attack somebody's business. But if you say you want to develop sports, the deputy minister of sports goes to Morocco and is being shown pitches. And he says,
facilities.
Charlie, facilities. It looks like we've been deceived in Ghana. But Charlie, facilities day. Sky. It's scandalous. Like, what's the sports development policy he's working with? What does that policy say about pitches? When they keep commissioning astroturfs of all types,
and then come to Ghana and tell us that,
do you get me?
Moroccans are telling you that,
so
in
like,
fact, the astroturf we are using here, nobody's using
you can have a recreational astroturf, but if that becomes your main
policy
not policy de jure, policy de facto, in terms of there's no law that says you make astroturfs, but you are building them everywhere, and you are training a generation of footballers who don't even know how to use grass. Is it any surprise that your junior teams will lose? Yeah, so, and for him to, and Godfred, the audio I heard, he sounded very like impressed with what the Moroccans were doing. But you are very scandalized by it.
Of course, because it's everything that he said there that you heard. Have we not spoken about it here? Have I not spoken about the astroturfs before? The fact that I have concerns about it. Now you go to Morocco and you are saying, the people are telling you that, they have hybrid, they have this. Have I not sat here and walked you through the various levels of synthetic there are on the market? But for me, being scandalized was based on the fact that here is a deputy minister of sports, like Bernard said. This should not be news to Mr. Honorable Bobie.
He was
should not be news to him at all.
I did not surprise you.
Just how advanced an African country.
You actually made a show. You actually did a show on Morocco. You actually spoke about Morocco some time ago about how Morocco was doing so well with their stadium, and that we shouldn't be surprised at their World Cup performance.
Just infrastructure, okay, and the plan for it. So to come back and then be surprised that somebody actually has a plan for this, and it's not like once in a while they wake up and say, national team take $2 million and go, and then you're surprised that they are able to. You see, the thing is, you can do all by accident.
Mm-hmm.
And once in a while, we do that.
You can't sustain success,
but you cannot sustain it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which is where a lot of the countries who are doing well now are moving towards. They are working towards it. We are looking to do well by accident. And once we do well by accident, we tend to pat ourselves on the back for 3 years after doing well by accident. 3 years ago, we told you we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do that. Meanwhile, by the time we are done patting ourselves on the back, everybody has moved on.
So what surprised you the most about what he said?
No, what surprised me was how incredulous he was and he sounded by what he had gone to see in Morocco.
Is it a long insert?
It's 3 minutes, so we can't play it. Yeah. Time is almost up.
He was shocked.
He was shocked. And it wasn't, another thing I'll add, he wasn't alone. He went with members of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Sports.
Huh.
Some of them. He went with National Sports Authority boss, Professor Chumesi. Yeah. I have mentioned his name on this show before. If the president is listening to me.
President of the FA.
President of the Republic of Ghana. Professor Chumesi is the worst.
Hey.
In my 17 years of practicing sports journalism, he is by far the worst.
That's very strong.
Bernard, I choose my words carefully. I don't use words by heart. He's the worst National Sports Authority boss I have ever seen at work.
Give evidence, at least 2 minutes.
The state of the infrastructure that he supervises should tell you.
But is he a paying officer?
Is it? No. He supervises the sports infrastructure we have in this country. He went to Sunyani to go and inspect facilities, and the supporters told him that we don't trust your timelines, so we will build our own infrastructure. You reviewed that story here last week, that the supporters in BA.
What I'm trying to say is that is the one who is in charge of the infrastructure responsible for his state.
No, yes. The maintenance of it. Everything is on him.
Not the building of new infrastructure.
The maintenance of it, you see, and he's in charge of sports development.
Does he have a budget?
Because does he have a what?
Budget.
Bernard,
have they given him money?
Bernard, they just licensed pillow fighting as a sport in this country.
Are you serious?
Who does that?
They've licensed pillow fighting. Are you joking?
He's here in schools.
Stop it. Guys, look how they are saying. Like how?
You say you think.
Oh, how?
You license pillow fight.
You are being facetious.
We are not.
Pillow fight.
You see, the rigor that is required to do this job, he doesn't have it.
A professor.
He's a brilliant man he's a brilliant man in his side in his field. I've never
like the way Sky helped me in my views on the court matter that I amended my position.
I have not said he's a poor professor. Please, I can never say that.
About so you're saying that he's not.
He earned the position of. I'm not speaking about his academic credentials.
He's not
but in his tenure as the National Sports Authority boss, but I can play back some of the interviews.
But how much power does he have?
He has a lot of power.
Because I sitting here, I don't even know that NSA has that much power.
He has a lot of power.
On paper.
You see, because he's the policy director.
But what if the minister doesn't work with the policy?
I'm coming to that one. The minister whose matters we have addressed on this show.
So the deputy minister's incredulity at Morocco's speeches, you think points to a much deeper problem?
No, because he should not be. What he went to see in Morocco is the norm. The fact that it's only because we are not doing it yet. They've been told that maybe.
So they've been deceived.
No, maybe they're not paying attention. Because there is no way you can be a high-level sports minister and be surprised by what you went to see in Morocco. It's standard. That is the way it's supposed to be.
And we can link some of that to where the level of sport
And I'll be back tomorrow.
God willing.
Oh, yes.
Thank you for the time. It's not easy, Charlie. Richard Sky, Godfrey Akotoba, Food Nitankwa, open fire. May the Lord help us. In Jesus' name, amen. Coming up next is City News at 10. Caleb Kuda, good morning.
Good morning, Bernard. Coming up, Electricity Company of Ghana, ACG, to settle debts.